Yep.
Okay. All right. Hang on. All right. We should be live again. Let me know.
All right. And it is a different link for YouTube, just future reference, but I'm updating it in the announcement post.
Okay.
Metal
Take
Slug
two.
Tactics. Woo! Tactics take. So it looks, the pixel art and animation looks great, which is, I feel like, essential if you're going to do a Metal Slug anything.
Yeah.
But like, it actually looks like a pretty good tactics game. You know, there's like verticality, which I'm always looking for in this genre. I don't know. I like the smaller map size, honestly. You know, I hate when tactics games get a little too like blown out with like too many units.
Yeah.
This looks like 100% my shit. I saw a little progression there.
Looks like there's mid-match leveling. I mean, they were showing their XP bars and all that.
It's the developer of some other strategy game that I think is like pretty hot on early access right now, called Synergy. I think this is that developer.
Liker.
Anyways.
Leikir.
Do y'all remember Void Bastard 2 here?
I didn't play it, but I definitely remember it.
Did y'all know a new one's come? Oh, Nolan, you nodded?
No, I a little bit, but not really a whole lot.
I think Crispy
I know
played
it was light.
I think Crispy might have, yeah.
Oh, Crispy. Where's that motherfucker?
I like the look of this.
So sci-fi
This
western.
is like a Wild West version of. This is their, the follow-up to Void Bastards, except this one's Wild West, spacey West. Space.
I like that combination. I'm not gonna lie.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Look at this guy.
I'm having trouble like figuring out the style of the actual gameplay.
It was.
They're only showing it in
first
like
game
quarter of a second clips.
Yeah, the first one
true.
was more tight corridors on ships, right? But it was a roguelike, and I believe this one is still like kind of.
Yeah, I remember the tight corridors on
Roguelike.
ships for sure.
It's
Chat,
still that
how
type
does
of game from what
the
I
feed look?
understand.
I can't look
I'm
at chat.
watching-
Brad, I played Void Bastards for 4 hours.
Hey, that's.
The feed looks good on my
Maybe
end, by the
more
way,
than
Chris Davis.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely
But
more
I know
than
it
me.
was liked, reviewed pretty well. But I don't know when this one's coming out. But I definitely. I feel like I remember when this was announced, but man, no one seemed to really say much about it since then.
I had
Which is
forgotten
what?
Void Bastards existed until you mentioned the name.
Yeah, it seemed like a very like forgettable. There was like a couple of weeks there where people were like, "Ah, that's pretty fun."
So Bastards is just the IP, right? It's just something Bastards.
All right, well, this is kind of jumping into
guess.
like this. Yeah, Bastards is the
Yeah.
IP.
Yeah, we are going to talk about the highlights of last week's show on the podcast tonight,
Yeah,
which is going to
yeah, but
include
Some of these
Monster Hunter,
trailers are a
obviously.
little bit longer though, so we can kind of.
Dude, people are already
you
in
want me to
love
skip
with this
one?
chick.
No. I mean, you could play it. I'm kind of curious. Well, I don't want to skip all the state of play stuff because, we didn't.
No,
live
I do want to rewatch this, especially 'cause I've only watched it once when it was live.
Yeah, I only saw it the one time.
It looks fucking gorgeous.
Also, kind of par for the course as far as like Monster Hunter, but they released a lot of information like alongside this trailer. Like usually that happens where people have a lot of questions after watching a trailer, but then they check the website and there's like a whole bunch of new information.
Right.
So some of that stuff that might not be as clear.
So this game isn't going to be structured like World, is it?
No. We don't know. We don't know. / probably not actually. I mean, probably is actually. I think
It's so
people
hard to
want it to
tell.
be like one big map or something, but Capcom's never said that. In fact, I think maybe the director
I shot
said
that down.
said the opposite actually. That it is going to be specifically different.
I had read that it was a big map with no loading screens, no
See-
gates between zones.
See, that's
I
the
don't
thing
know
that
what-
people are
Where
saying.
did he read that?
Yeah.
Where did he read it?
I don't. Yeah, this is one of the questions I think we'll get an answer to on Friday because they're doing another
Yeah,
gameplay demonstration.
I believe that.
The reason
there's like-
I lean towards it could be possible is earlier in this trailer they were showing like the same scene but kind of at different like either like kind of states, like it's like grassy and like lush and then like desert, but like the same like kind of landscape. So I could easily see them having like a big area that now also is split almost into two, like a light world, dark world almost esque.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
maps
just a
are
guess from
definitely
what they
have been
showed, but-
getting bigger. So even if it's like multiple maps, I mean, they're certainly going to be enormous, especially
Yeah.
now that mounts are just such a seamless part of gameplay. Now that these new ones can even glide. Um, the thing I
trailer
see,
just never shows like the hub area, like that you would go back to. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure that exists. They just don't really show what form it takes.
the big thing is that you can like now bring 2 weapons with you and like switch them on your mount, which is nice. He was even firing like a light bowgun or a heavy bowgun
Yeah.
while on a mount, which is crazy. There's like a
Right.
new stance that's supposed to like change things pretty significantly, but yeah, we'll get more information on Friday.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still don't think we know about
Let's fucking go, Astrobot baby.
this one. I was gonna open with this, but we actually opened with the old Astrobot trailer last episode, just because
We were
I
hoping
don't know.
for it.
There was rumors that this was going to be here, and here it is.
I mean, this is kind of what we all wanted, right? It feels
For
like
sure.
a fully
Yeah.
blown like.
it is what I want. Best case scenario, honestly, would have been something that supported both VR and non-VR.
Yeah, I
Because
mean that
that
could still
VR game
happen.
was really special, and part of it was the very VR, like the sense of scale, the sense of looking around and looking for dudes and whatnot.
So
But
on
this does-
Friday, on Friday, one of the PlayStation is one of the participants of Summer Game Fest thing on Friday, and
Yeah.
we don't know what they're gonna show. I could see this being a game that they bring up on stage and like demo. So like
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
they'll talk
demo.
more about that stuff. You know what
At
I mean?
the
Like
Keeleys? Does he do
Yeah.
any demos, or is they mostly just?
no, yeah. A lot of times they'll do like several like prominent releases that are coming up real soon, and they'll have developers come up and do a
The
gameplay
more
demo and talk
cynical
about it.
version of me, and the fact that Keeleys are mostly just a big advertisement, makes me think that Sony really wants to probably convince people that Concord is worth it. I think that's more likely to be at the Keeleys, but they might
Yeah.
like give us a little taste of this as like a compromise.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think it'd be a huge mistake to show Concord again.
Well, not to Sony, who desperately wants it to be successful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, mistake to who exactly?
Sony's got
I
to
don't know.
convince us how this is not Overwatch.
I just don't think the
one
solution
thing to note here is that like I'm a little surprised that they're really like doubling down on the PlayStation nostalgia, because that was one thing that wasn't present in Rescue Mission but was present in the last Astro Playroom game
They're-
for the PS5. But they're
Right.
going like
Rescue
all
Mission
in
had
on,
some nostalgia stuff for sure.
Yeah.
but it didn't
Yeah,
have
did
all
it
these
not?
like cameos and stuff. That was just the PS5.
Okay, yeah, correct. It didn't have cameos. Yeah.
Yeah, but wasn't that also like a lower budget game, right?
No, Rescue Mission
dude.
Necessarily.
was a much bigger game. The PS5
Yeah.
one was the one that was more of a tech demo.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm
Correct.
thinking of.
even though they're both, 4 to
But
5
this
hours.
seems like big game outside of VR. This is gonna be our Mario Galaxy or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
to
what-
be honest, I like Astrobots so much, and this looks so good that like I could see this very. Like, everyone makes the Mario Galaxy comparison, but like I don't think that's overselling it. I think this could be an incredible fucking platformer.
It could be.
If it's really of the scale and scope of something like a 3D Mario game, which it appears to
there's
be.
been, I've been kind of arguing with people over in the Fantasy Critic Discord when I'm saying this thing's like 90 plus, man. And sure enough, this thing
Oh, for
set
sure.
like records. Probably, well, Mario Wonder probably set crazy records too. But like the amount of money that this made in bids was crazy high. Some people seem to think that like as a platformer, pure platformer, you take out the VR gimmick, the controller gimmicks, what's left as a platformer maybe isn't all that deep, maybe isn't all as complex as Mario. Will it actually like hold up as a pure platformer?
I think it will.
Um,
I think
I
that
think it
game
will.
is. I think
Yeah,
that
I
game's
just-
design
I-
was.
I think it'll hold up, but they're also different kind of styles. I would say Mario was almost more fast-paced than Astrobot. Like he doesn't move extremely quick. I mean, I guess maybe when he's on some of like the ships and stuff they showed in the trailer, but for the most part, when he's running around, he's fairly slow. Versus
Yeah,
Mario,
he
it's
doesn't
a
have
very
that tech
fast-paced game.
complexity of like an Odyssey,
Yeah.
hat diving, bouncing.
Do I need to
craziness,
pause
but-
so we can listen to Silent Hill
go-
again?
Yeah, pause it real quick.
Not necessarily.
I
Just
mean,
set it up, Nick, and then we'll.
Well, I mean, half the trailer's already shown. We haven't said anything about Silent Hill. I don't know.
Oh, do you not know about Silent Hill, Nick?
Oh, I do.
This is a remake, Nick?
Oh my god. Skip this one, Chris Davis. Just move right on. Just move.
No,
Nothing to see
skip
here.
it. Just start it over. Start it over. Where are we?
No. We're gonna talk about this in the podcast. So I don't know how much detail I want to go into right here, but I don't know. I was much more impressed with this showing this past week than the last couple times they've shown it. I am skewing in a much more positive direction now than I was before.
I think you should stay away.
Not enough to bid though, huh?
So you don't know that, dude. It's Wednesday. You know, the last 2 weeks I haven't even. I keep forgetting. I used to be so on track with like checking bids on Thursday because of the podcast, and now we don't do the podcast on Thursday, so I keep forgetting.
Wait, you're supposed to be talking about Silent Hill.
I think this looks good. I think this looks strong. The trailer is not focused on combat, but the little combat that it does show looks promising. I think
it does. The combat looks a lot better than they last showed it.
Animations are a little whack though, like when he's hitting the ground and stuff. I noticed when I was watching the.
We nitpicking.
Well, no,
Look at this.
I mean, it is though. I mean,
he fucking kneecaps this fucking nurse.
Well, it's more about like the feedback of like that combat going on. Like, there's not a lot of visual, like oomph to your head.
No, it just straight up looks. So in the actual Konami event, it shows him like repeatedly hitting something on the ground, and it looked a little rough. I'm hoping they kind of
look. I think we're all the fact that we're even so focused on combat is kind of ridiculous because Silent Hill is not about combat.
If the combat, the faces,
well, no. I'm just saying if the combat in this game is even passable, and just like
over the logo,
it's fun. It's you know, it's where it needs to be. The combat, the focus of this game should be on making the combat passable. Everything else is what's important, and everything else they've shown I think has been pretty great.
To be fair, in something like a remake, you know, you're looking for, oh well, this has been such a long time, how is the gameplay different? I mean, what is gameplay outside of combat? You know, there's puzzle solving and
look,
kind of walking around, but
I mentioned this briefly, and we can talk about it more on the podcast, but like Dusk Golem did like literally like an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. fucking Silent Hill 2 remake thread on Twitter where he was just constantly diving deep into that trailer and like going through all like the Easter eggs and the little things and the comparisons and stuff, and it was like super fucking impressive. Like he was just all day long, my entire workday he was tweeting away, and it was just fascinating to like read all the things that he was pointing out. And I was like, it clearly seems like there's been some care put into this, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be an like it does. There are little details that he talks about that are visible in that trailer that you may not notice immediately that point to this game being more than just a one-to-one remake of Silent Hill 2. Like they're trying some cool shit in there, and some of it's kind of, you have to look a little bit beyond the surface, but it seems pretty neat.
I mean, compared to like the first couple trailers, including that combat trailer, the last one, it feels like Bloober had more editorial control of this trailer. So they were much more careful about their cuts. That
trailer that you're referring to was almost certainly a response of Konami trying to like react to everybody always talking about how bad the combat is in Silent Hill 2. It was a mistake. They shouldn't have done it.
They should have never done it.
Look, the thing is, I'm on your side, Nick. I think this showing looked pretty good, and people are going to be critical, but like,
well, yeah, of course,
no one should expect like a Resident Evil game with a Resident Evil budget. It was never going to be that. Silent Hill was never that.
It doesn't even need to be that. But like, I do think this game looks beautiful.
But it is a beloved game, so people do want a lot. I will just add that, like, just to transition off of Silent Hill.
Well, I'm trying to get Nolan's been trying to say something for like a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a little
he should have been given the birds or whatever.
I was just gonna say that, you know, if we're gonna do this, which I agree we should, it would probably be beneficial if we're not just staring at like a PlayStation logo. Like, you could be like having the Silent Hill trailer going in the background, maybe muted, while we're talking about it.
I was trying to get him to pause.
This isn't easy to control. I've constantly got to keep switching between.
Chris Davis, right click, loop. Okay, that's fine. What do you have to switch between?
I have to switch between windows. I have to have Discord active.
Press M to mute.
I didn't
Yes, when you're in a
Anyways.
YouTube video, if you press M, it mutes it. You don't need. Where are you using the mouse, Chris Davis?
I
You're
have
like,
to switch back between the windows. It doesn't work.
You press
Mhm.
Alt Tab, and then M, and then you're done, and then Alt Tab again, and you're back. And there's lots of real quick things you can do. It's fine. I'm just saying, like,
We can move on.
Well,
Duly
I want
noted.
to say, there's a lot of horror fans who were going to bat for, the whatever 6.5 out of 10 Alone in the Dark, who was completely okay with this little budget romp with shit combat. But hey, I want this to be all right. And you know what? God damn it, it is all right. We can extend. If you can extend that courtesy to a fucking Alone in the Dark game, maybe be a little nicer to the Silent Hill one. That's all
Dude,
I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I don't think this Silent Hill 2 is even in the same realm as the Alone in the Dark remake.
Wow,
or whatever
is that bad?
No, I'm
No, I'm
saying.
saying you think it's better. I get it. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, I think.
No,
I think
I agree with you. I think it is. What I'm saying is, if people are gonna like be okay with Alone in the Dark, then like, what are they talking about with this? I mean, this is certainly going to be better than that, right?
dude, so much of the
Right?
discourse of this game has already been like unnecessarily focused on the way the fucking characters look because they're not sexy enough or something.
it's
I'm
just
just
that-
done.
and
No, that's not what they
Done.
said. Not
Dude,
sexy
no,
enough.
no, Brad, that 100% people are saying that.
100%.
That's
Someone,
There's that
honestly,
one. It's
as someone who
one
doesn't give a
character.
fuck. Oh no, hold on. As someone who doesn't give a fuck about Silent Hill, I've learned more about how mad people are about how they look than anything else.
Okay, look.
Like,
It's
there's
this
been
one
so
character
much
right here.
discourse.
Before certain
this
people
one
in
face.
chat, pick up their pitchforks, I want to say I know that the discourse around the character of Maria makes sense because there is a aspect of her character that is specifically supposed to be very sexualized, like hypersexualized, and they've seemed to have toned that down a little bit. It's Angela that people are focusing on, where they're like, she's ugly, and it's like, what the fuck are you? Like, she looks like a normal person. Why is this even a part of the conversation?
Nick,
It does.
that's
It matters not.
That is so much about the past 5 years of the video game industry, of people making women look more realistic in games and just incels on the internet being pissy that they can't jack off to them. It is
Yeah.
ridiculous how often people will be like, "Oh, Aloy looks so masculine. She's a trans man." Oh,
Sweet baby got
what's
their hands on this
fucking
game. That's-
what's her face? From The Last of Us, Abby from The Last of Us. Oh, she's a man. It's just like it's. First off, some of it's real. A lot of it is just fucking trolls, and they just feed off people getting bitchy about them, and
Yeah,
it sucks. And we just got to kind of fucking ignore it.
Yep.
Okay,
I mean,
Concord, let's go. This conversation. I mean, we'll carry it on the podcast, but this part of it sucks anyway. So
how many?
Moving on to the
okay.
next trailer.
Concord. Woo!
we got a million more trailers.
Concord. This.
It's hard work, but it's our
What do
work,
we feel? I mean,
and we don't take it for granted.
this looks
It's-
like Guardians of the Galaxy meets Overwatch, right? That's
I
kind of
gotta
what
be
they're going
honest. I
for.
thought Crispy was going to be here. How do y'all feel about Guardians?
I mean, it's just fucking Overwatch with somehow
what does
less
that mean?
interesting combat.
Hey,
That's
that
interesting
actually no.
combat? What do
Whatever.
you mean?
No, listen. Whatever that was, that little fucking grenade thing he threw that stuck to the wall, then like inverted gravity in the immediate
No,
vicinity.
that's-
That was
All
pretty
right. Chris
freaking cool.
Davis, Nick, maybe Nolan. Nolan, have you played a little bit of Overwatch?
A little, not much. It's not
Okay.
really my cup of tea. Like I'm very picky when it comes to like multiplayer shooters. Like it's one of
All
those
right, yeah,
things
this one was
that
for Crispy.
the problem is I'm not bad, but I'm not good, and that gets frustrating when I'm playing with people who are good because it's like I'm
that's
so
weird.
close to being good that it would make it more fun for me, but also I just don't have the fucking time. And so I just end up not playing them is the thing. And it's one of those things where something like this I would probably play for like a game night or something, but then like I don't know if I'm gonna go off and play it on my own.
Hey,
Well, in an effort to
You know-
like stay on the relevant information, they're saying this is not going to be free to play, which one seems like a bad idea, and two means probably not having a game night about Concord with Concord.
You know what's weird and kind of sucky, like as far as like this is trend chasing, right? But as far
Well,
as
no, this is a dead trend. That's the thing. They were probably working on this game for years. No one wants a hero
Yeah.
shooter anymore. People better than want to play Overwatch.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think this game looks cool and looks kind of fun, and I like the characters and the personality. The problem is Is it gonna have legs? Is it gonna live longer? Is it gonna be dead in 3 months? Probably. You know what I mean?
Of
So it's like
course.
I don't even want to let myself get excited.
People are
for it.
really mean to this type of. No one
Oh
wants.
yeah, they are.
Like you pitch a new IP that has like even makes like cracks a smile. You know, people are like, "Fuck you! What is this shit? We don't want this shit. You're dead. You're dead. Get me DOA." It's funny, a little bit funny.
I would.
How much?
You know,
How pissed off people are about this game they've never played.
I would play this. I would try this if it fucking took off.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not
This
gonna
was a
take off.
crispy. It was a crispy trailer. Let's.
All right, this is our last trailer before we start the podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fucking Carlos swooping in with a game that I counterpicked that I thought was never going to be talked about again, at least not in 2024.
Though the trailer itself is kind of whatever. We can
And
maybe
now I
skip
have
to
to
the
worry
next one
about
if
it.
you
But
want.
here's the thing: it's made from the developers of Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, which is a fucking incredible VR game. I just,
I feel like
I don't know.
Chapter 1 of Saints and Sinners was well received. Chapter 2 came out, and I heard nothing about that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that has more to do
Because
with the fact that
it didn't. They don't really advertise VR games anywhere. I feel like unless there's a new headset coming out. Like where are VR advertisements outside of the VR headset? Were you in a VR headset after Saints and Sinners 2 came out?
yeah, no. I mean, VR is just like nobody seems to want to market it.
People
or
who
whatever.
pay attention to VR, who play it regularly, know all about this shit.
This is gonna get like
Otherwise-
20 reviews, but it could go like those 20 reviews could be really good.
This is pretty
definitely
hyped.
could.
It's been in development for a long time.
I would have probably drafted this if I thought there was any chance in hell of it coming out this year. Look
This-
how he
this-
chopped that dude's face in half.
I'm a
mean,
little
it's-
glad though. I'm a little glad for your, L here, Nick, because I'm hoping that you were looking a little too safe. So I'm glad there's a little like.
Yeah, now I'm a little concerned. I'm a little concerned.
I mean,
I
either
was-
this has got to be bad or Wukong now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was sitting pretty for a minute there on counter picks and not so much anymore. All right, we need to get to the podcast.
Yeah.
It is
Real
8:30.
Maybe, what, I might just do a regular ass trailer talk this weekend because
Sure,
20
why not?
minutes, and we're mostly just yelling at each other half the time. It's just tough.
1 second.
It is what it is.
I set up for 5 thinking Chris was here. So 1 second.
I told you before, it's only 4 of us, didn't I?
Well, you didn't tell me until like I built the presentation.
I wish there was an easier way for you.
You have access to the same channel I do. You see Crispy in
What
there
if he,
saying he's
what
gonna
if
be
he
here?
showed up right now?
Then
He's not
we'd
going
be,
to.
we'd be fucked.
All right, 1
He's probably
second.
playing Destiny.
That's sec. Let me do this. Generic fetch 4. Okay. There's that. There's that. Okay.
What's
I
your
am-
weather
I didn't
situation
actually.
looking
We
like
didn't
at the moment?
actually get to any of the trailers from the Discord. They were coming right up. I think there was one more State of Play trailer, and then some
Well,
of that other stuff. But we'll just keep that on a playlist and kind of pick up where we
yeah,
left
I
off.
don't think
The,
I don't
the
think
thing is,
people
it's
should
so short, but I
expect.
still want to do a little curation here. Otherwise, we're not going to be talking about interesting new shit. Sometimes it'll like a couple people posted old commercials, which I like, but there needs to be a
Here's a
mix
question.
of.
Here's a question. What is to stop Brad from sharing his screen and then you streaming and having
that
him
would
be a
make my
complete
life
controller?
easier.
Okay, we could do that, but
Don't people who submit stuff in Trailer Talk? It's in the playlist. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get to it that week. It's just the way this thing
No.
works.
No.
And if you want to do a Trailer Talk,
but
in between
unfortunately,
by
it's
yourself,
just
that's fine.
it's key 3 season, so
There's going to be no
um,
shortage of stuff to
It's true.
watch or whatnot. So, anyways, I'm doing a sound check. Give me 1 second.
give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second test.
I want to switch out the battery in my headset real quick. I'm worried about it dying.
Sounds great. Your headset still in?
Switch out the battery. What the fuck? It's proprietary batteries?
All right, I'm ready when y'all are.
What the
I mean, that's a good idea, I guess, if you forget to charge.
I guess.
That is weird to see in that kind of electronic though.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I would
Bananas.
love to see it in these like in these little handhelds that are all
These
the
nuts.
rage. You know, I wish I could just
Oh
swap out the battery
yeah.
with another
That
one
would
that's
be
already
cool.
charged. It'd be real nice.
I keep thinking about that Emberneck SP, but then I realize I don't have any Game Boy games that I really want to buy right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
What?
Rewind that.
What?
You're thinking about this Ambernick thing, this cheap emulation device.
Yeah.
You don't you have one of the fancy like overpriced
A
ones to
pocket?
play the
Yeah, I've got a
handheld
pocket.
games?
I've got it right here.
Okay.
But he could have another one, Brad.
Ooh,
But
there's some
that
new...
one is like fancy and boutique and like has an
Yeah,
amazing
but
screen
I've
and
always
stuff.
liked. I've always had a place in my heart for the SP.
Okay, so if you're gonna but
What are we
so
talking about?
just-
What are we talking about?
he wants to buy this thing, an emulation
No, I
device,
keep
but
thinking
still buy
about it,
the
but I'm not
games
going
to
to
stay
buy it
honest.
right now.
No, I'm more. It's the comment where you said, "I don't know if I can afford the games for it or whatever." What did you say?
Because I don't have much of a Game Boy library to work with.
Like a ROM library?
I don't have a ROM library. I don't have a Game Boy or cartridge library.
Okay.
Nothing like that exists on the internet, Brad. So obviously
what-
you can't get anything.
I
Do you
can
remember my
certainly
4-player
get
minute?
some.
You go to archive.org and they have like little custom tailored packs that fit any memory card size you want for the device that you specifically bought.
Yeah.
You just grab that. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to track down Quintet and cut them a check for the game. You're just going to have to download it. I mean,
I know.
that's what the devices are for.
All right.
I
But that's
have
the thing.
no issue.
You have the fancy expensive one for the actual physical games. If you buy a physical game, just play it on that. So that's where I'm a little confused.
I mean,
All
to be
right.
clear, I have no qualms about getting ROMs for games that are not on sale. If I cannot buy it, then if that's the only recourse to play a game, then hey, piracy is piracy.
Hey, real
And
quick,
it's
everybody,
mostly-
shut up for a second. Nolan, what's up?
Y'all are aware that any minute, right? I might have to duck.
Yeah.
So is this
How bad
happening?
does it
We wanna
sound
handle
out
that.
there? How bad does it?
Bad.
Sounds- Yeah. I don't know how close it was.
Check your radar.
Yes, bad.
Okay.
Like,
I'm
is
just
this
saying,
like
like-
bad? Like, if you look outside your house, you can see like a tornado right now?
No.
Maybe he's
If
saying,
there
do
was
we
a tornado outside my house, Nick, I would not be in this chair.
He may lose internet and electricity.
Your background is blacked out. For all we know, you could be in your bathtub
I'm not.
streaming.
I'm just saying, like at any point in time, I might have to dip. I'm just going to press stop recording and leave.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm
That's
just
fine.
letting you know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah. Just hit stop record and bounce
Is
out,
the-
and we'll
I'm
keep going.
I'm not going to say
Presentation-
anything. I'm not going to be like,
the
"Hey guys,
present-
excuse me, let me interrupt this, conversation." I'm just going to leave. Just FYI.
Okay,
Okay.
no, that's fine. But maybe shoot us a quick Discord message after you drop out, so we know that like you didn't get blown away.
That's fine. I can do that.
Okay.
And if it's definitely if it's a situation where you're planning on coming back on, shoot us a message so we know to prepare for your re-entry.
Oh, I was just more concerned about his
Well, yeah, I
well-being
know.
and less
You
the
got that
presentation.
covered. Obviously, we want to know if he's okay.
Yeah.
Y'all take care of yourselves, Nolan. I think that's the important thing.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna do a roll call. Everybody recording?
No.
I am
Yes.
recording.
I am recording.
All right. Roll call starts now. Brad,
Hello.
Nolan,
This is Nolan, and I am doing a roll call.
and Chris Davis.
This is also Chris doing a roll call because I can't speak tonight.
Well, that's great because you're going to be leading a major section of the podcast. Anyways,
Ain't it
hey,
wonderful?
damn it! I was like about to roll right into the show, and then you just
Well, I needed to get the clean clip
You
for the
just-
sync.
chipped away at it. Anyways,
Hmm? Jets, jet airplanes.
Perfect. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 797. It is June. Actually, I don't even know what day it is. What day is this? June
They
5th?
don't
Fifth.
fucking
June.
matter.
Actually, I know
Fifth.
what day it is. It's June 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Nick Henderson, joined tonight by Brad Simons,
Hmm.
Nolan Hedstrom,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
and Christopher Davis.
Good evening. It's going to be a good show.
It's Chris Davis has had some wild faith in this particular episode all week. So
I got a little bone to pick with this man, but we'll get to it later.
there will be plenty
no.
of time to pick bones in a little bit.
did
I just want to
do?
give everybody kind of a rundown. First of all, if you're watching us live, thank you for tuning in. We didn't end up recording last night on Tuesday, which is our normal night, so it's Wednesday and we're recording. But we appreciate everyone who could show up. It is Key 3 week, as if you will. It's Summer Game Fest coming up. So in the first segment here, we're going to kind of recap some of the stuff that happened last week, specifically the highlights from the PlayStation State of Play and the Silent Hill transmission. And then Chris Davis is going to lead us through. We kind of did this last year, right? Didn't we? In some
Okay, that was my
form?
bone to pick. This
Alright, here
man's
it
like,
is.
y'all, I got a brilliant idea. How about I come up with a list of games and y'all say if y'all think it's going to be at the showcase or not, and we like score it. It's like, isn't this such a cool, fresh idea that no one's ever thought of before? Easy Allies does something like that, which is not only what I did last year, but I also attributed it to stealing it from Easy Allies. So I don't know. Maybe Chris Davis has been doing heavy drugs since then, but it doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
Brad, I have slept over 365 times since we did that. You can't expect me to remember everything.
I know, but like here's my argument against that, Chris Davis, is I have a notoriously bad memory, and I remember that. So I don't know what's up
I think
here.
I'm pretty sure Carlos won as well.
But
I
here's
remember.
the deal. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again. So and this time Chris Davis is gonna lead the charge. So I don't know what's
Yeah, I
gonna
don't know what he's
happen.
gonna do.
Chris
Might
Davis
have
is
I've got a
to
gonna,
do
fun
the dumb
list.
wagers like you can earn $1 or $50 if Final Fantasy 17's announced.
No, that's not what I said. All I suggested was that
No. That was what I
whoever
did
wins
last year. You had
would
sleeps.
get
You don't remember.
would
It's
get
fine.
3 points on Fantasy Critic. And
No,
you
no.
shut me down.
That's another conversation, and I shot that down like we all shot it down last year.
we did.
when we did
We
this.
did. We did. That's neither here nor there.
remember.
The point is, it's Key 3. Summer Game Fest is happening this week, starting on Friday with Jeff Keighley's big 2-hour presentation thing, right? So we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, we have the Xbox Showcase coming up. We have the Ubisoft Forward coming up. We have some indie showcases coming up. And here's what I want to stress. And this is kind of, we do a lot of this stuff kind of off the cuff here. I know Chris Davis has prepared some stuff, but I want to squeeze all of this into the first segment. I don't want this to boil over into the second segment if we can
It's like
avoid it.
lightning round, kind of.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I want to keep it kind of flowing smoothly here, and we got a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of exciting stuff to potentially talk about, so we're going to do that in the second segment. We're going to talk a little bit about Nine Souls, which Nolan, I think you've started.
Mhm.
Awesome. So Nolan and I have been playing Nine Souls. We'll talk about that. I know we have Brad's been playing Mini Shoot Adventures.
Yeah,
We'll be-
I think we might even do that one first.
Well, now that you've backed me into a corner, I guess we have to.
I'd rather do Nine Souls first. I'd like to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
I know how it goes.
there's-
I'm just kidding around. I know my place. I know my games.
Brad, I'm just saying at any point in time, I might have to leave because there's a tornado at my house. So if
No,
I
I
could talk
know.
about Nine Souls before that happens, that would be beneficial.
But,
Actually, in
but
fact,
we got you here to talk about Concord.
Okay,
Go!
real quick. I was trying to keep this kind of segmented out into like, Key 3 stuff and then impressions in the segment. But Nolan has a really good point. Nolan has a tornado bearing down in his house at any minute, and maybe we should just get the Nine Souls impressions out of the way now.
I would not be opposed to that.
Okay, let's do that. So that Nolan has a chance to talk about it. I know that we're going a little off script here. It's not going to be nearly as organized as I would have liked. So we'll get to that in just a second. I just want to. Oh, he's starting the footage now. Oh shit.
Yes.
Just real quick.
We ain't got time.
Nolan, as Nolan said, there's some bad weather, so there's a chance he might have to bounce very quickly, and we'll see how that goes. But guys, just want to remind you, we have a big week coming up in the games industry, so we'll have a lot of news and stuff coming up in the week. So if you want to hang out and talk about that stuff with us, we'd love to have you in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. So just keep that in mind. But now let's do it. Let's talk about Nine Souls. Nolan, do you want to set this up?
I can, I guess.
Yeah.
Before he gets into the game specifically, I just want to say this
Mhm.
is from the developers of Detention and Devotion. Devotion, I think we've talked about on this podcast multiple times. Interesting Taiwanese developer who was kind of blacklisted
In China.
from selling their game for a long time. Not from China, on Steam. Like not only were they not allowed to sell their game on Steam, GOG was like, oh, hey, we're going to be selling Nine Souls over here since you can't buy it on Steam. And a week later, they were like, actually, we're not going to be selling this game. We've been informed that y'all don't want us to sell this game.
Mm-mm.
So there was definitely some maybe pressure from certain places.
Well, that
because,
wasn't Nine Souls. That was Detention, wasn't it?
No, that was Devotion. That was Devotion.
Devotion, yeah.
There's a controversial past with them making fun of a certain leader of a very large nation. But yeah, I'm glad that they've seemed to have recovered from not being able to
What
sell
about
games
Winnie
at
the
all
Pooh?
to making out a sick ass game like Nine Souls. Take it away, Nolan.
Sure. Nine Souls, the hit new Souls-like indie Metroidvania game,
Metroidvania as
platformer.
fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Souls Troidvania.
Yeah. Just came out. Nick and like Nick said, he and I have been playing it. I don't know how far you are, Nick.
I am about 15 hours in or so.
Okay.
I mean, it's a game called Nine Souls, which kind of, without going into the specifics of like the story or anything, the goal of the game is to kind of defeat basically nine bosses, nine souls or so. So I've gone
SOLs,
through,
not SOULs.
yeah, SOLS,
Correct.
like celestial souls.
Mhm.
And I have defeated 3 of them in about 15 hours, which I don't think is necessarily. I wouldn't say that's because of difficulty. I'm saying this game is just pretty large and there's a lot of stuff to do.
It's definitely a big game. I will say that I'm not anywhere near as far. I just started playing it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about 2.5 hours in, and I am at, I believe, the first soul.
Have you fought like a dude on a bridge with like a big? He looks like a horse with a spear, kind of dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young Zhao.
I don't know any of their names.
Like
They're
that. His name is something like that.
Yeah.
But yes, that is who I am currently fighting. Right, young. It's something like that.
Yeah. It's first major boss.
Ying Zhao. But yeah, yes, I fought him maybe 3 or 4 times so far. I've not defeated him yet.
I will say, out of all the bosses I've fought, he is the one. Brad, I know you were talking a little bit in Discord about like difficulty of bosses and whatnot.
I'm concerned about boss difficulty because I've heard a lot of people talking about this game, talking about hard bosses.
That's the boss that I got stuck on for more than an hour. But I'll tell you this.
Yeah, but you also said you're 3 bosses in, and now I'm getting a little worried again.
Okay, so hold on. Here's what I'll say about that, Brad. So first off, I think it is Souls-like in the sense that if you approach enemies, specifically bosses, hastily or without, taking a breather, taking a step back, it's very easy to die. I think if you spend a little bit of time not trying to get in those extra few hits, but literally just getting in a hit.
Yeah.
You have a 3-hit combo as one of your main things. The third hit of your combo does more damage, so it is enticing to get in that third hit, but you can't always get it in between some of their attacks. And so it's one of those things where I have found. I think I fought the boss like 4 or 5 times now. The first 2 times, I honestly probably more than 4 or 5, maybe like not even 10, but the first like 2 or 3 times I died within like 20 seconds. Yeah, because
are the checkpoints like close to the bosses?
Oh yeah.
They usually have like bonfires, quote unquote.
At least there's that. I mean, the Hollow Knight bosses can be bastards.
And this is a game. This is a game with lots of shortcuts. Like finding shortcuts is like, oh yeah, okay.
I do love that, but like specifically, so I never finished Sekiro because honestly, I just wasn't having fun at some point because they were uncompromisingly difficult, and you pretty much have to like it's a parry game, right? And I know this is like that as well,
This is
right?
a
Where
parry game.
if you
This is
don't
very
get
much
the
a parry.
pattern recognition mastered so you can parry these bosses, you're just not gonna be like you can't go build around the boss fight, right? Like you can in maybe say Elden Ring, right? You have
Well,
to
it does the thing that
meet it
Hollow
at
Knight does, where it gives you like nodes that you can like swap in and out.
oh, so you
Like
do
the
have some build
seals. Yes,
customization.
like the seals from Hollow Knight. They are in this. They're nodes. And as of the first boss, I think I only have like maybe 3 or 4. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I've been to a couple of shops where I've had the opportunity to buy a bunch of them. I just haven't decided if ones I want to spend my gin, the currency on.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I am fairly certain that there is going to be points later on where I'm going to want to build around certain bosses. I know there are nodes that allow you to heal faster. So you're where you stop and heal yourself. It obviously it takes a second to do that. There are ones that make that process faster. There are ones that
They're
kind
very
of.
Hollow Knight
Oh no,
It
it is very Hollow Knight for sure.
then, right?
But yeah.
Like
So
the
anyway, so
because that's
I'm just
specifically the kind of thing you were building.
yeah, and so just thinking about that first boss, I've like I said, the first few times I died very quickly, but then I'm like, hold on, let me take a step back. I realize now that when he does his backup sweep attack, it does not flow smoothly. He sweeps and then goes real quick, and so you have to once you kind of start realizing, oh, this is his patterns and doing this. Now, I don't spoilers. He has 2 phases.
Okay, I was about to be like,
Um,
Nolan, can I burst a bubble because I
yeah,
wasn't sure if you've done that yet.
yes, correct. Yeah,
What kind of game builds
it
a
was
first boss with 2 phases?
yeah, and there's no indication of that until you defeat him and then realize like, oh
I had
shit,
that
that was
moment.
phase one.
I had that moment where I was like, yes, and then I was like immediately like, what?
Yeah,
No.
Was
Yeah.
this the
I
robot
was
last
like,
night?
No. That's like the third boss that I did
I
Okay.
gotta
last
be
yeah,
night.
honest with
I
you
was gonna
guys,
say
what's
like,
happening?
mhm.
We're talking about bosses here.
Well,
Well,
you were
so the
specifically
reason I
voicing
wanted to
some
say
concerns.
the reason I wanted to say that, Brad, was to Nick's point. I know you had mentioned like that was one of your concerns with the game when we were talking about it in Discord at discord.gg/4player, that you were worried that you might get stuck on a boss and not really want to proceed. And but what I was essentially saying was I had that feeling of, oh, I beat this boss on the 4th try. Oh crap! There's another phase. The second phase is definitely a little more difficult than the first. His attacks are a little quicker, and whatnot. But I feel like I am starting to get it down. And similar to a Souls game, I would say I don't want to say like less Sekiro, but similar in my opinion to a Souls game. Every time I get hit or I die, I know why. I'm like, yeah, I fucked up. I was being a little too aggressive.
Not greedy.
I got greedy. Put up my parry or my block way too early. Like I am very much aware of my failings. And so I do feel like, I can probably defeat this boss on the next 1 or 2 tries. That being said, as well, there's nothing to stop me from leaving, going around fighting a bunch of random enemies, collecting souls,
Do
as it
you feel
were.
like you could leave, maybe not get stronger, but like,
Well, that's what I
I
was
guess
saying. So there is
you
there
kind of
is
leave
a
further.
system of when you defeat enemies, you slowly gather. And I don't know what the term is. I don't know if you know, Nick, like if it's souls or whatever.
Oh, I don't know
But
what the term is.
yeah. So anyway, there's a
There's two
meter, and
currencies
once
actually, because
correct, yeah. There's
you get
like
money.
cash.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jin is what they call it, Jin. And then like the currency, the souls, whatever you want to call them. Like I said, there might be a name, I just don't remember what it is. That once that meter fills up, you now have 1 of that currency that you can spend on your skill tree.
and that you don't
Um,
lose that when you die. You only
Correct, which
lose
is
so
very
like
nice.
it fills a meter, right? So every enemy you kill fills a meter, and if you get that meter to fully fill up, it gives you a skill point, and you can't lose that skill point. If you fill the meter up halfway again towards 2 and then die, you go back to 1, and
Mhm.
and that's what you're kind of recollecting.
But
But
you
you
can
can,
recover it like a Souls game
yeah, but
of an
like there's
enemy that
plenty
can't
of there's a
be.
lot of map to explore, and you can use that to find new nodes. You can
Is
use
there
that
a
to
healthy
find
amount
stuff
of
that lets.
challenge when you're exploring said
Oh,
map?
have you been watching what I've been doing in this footage? There's no
Yeah, it
boss in this
looks
footage.
pretty nasty, which
This
is
part's
good. See,
pretty
this is what I
brutal.
like. I like it's not that I don't like hard games, um,
Right.
or even hard combat. It's that I like hard combat scenarios, encounter design, like level design. I just don't like getting stuck on a boss for Sekiro. I feel like half the time you're in bosses. Um,
So one last thing I'll maybe say about the boss, because this is the boss that no one is on. That
Mhm.
first boss is kind of a wake up call. Like
Yeah.
it took me a good solid hour to beat him. But it's a boss that specifically it's like if you haven't been practicing the parry, this boss is what's going to get you up to where you need to be before you
Mhm.
proceed. Because after you beat this boss, by the time I was getting really mad at that boss, right? When I finally defeated him, like both phases, it was a flawless victory. I didn't get hit once.
yeah,
But
but
like
that's just Sekiro.
I know, but it took me an hour. But like every boss I've fought since then, I beat on my second or third try.
True, but you also
Nice.
said 3 bosses. I'm thinking of the post that Prince was making, where it's like, "Oh my god, the 7th boss is just nightmare." Like I'm worried. I'm worried about future bosses, but I get it.
The three
We'll get
bosses
there.
I've fought
So
since that first one haven't
there
been
are
nearly as bad.
we started this conversation in Discord when I heard that this game had difficulty options, and I was like,
Right.
"Well, maybe if I turn down the difficulty, it would just be a fun Metroidvania, and I'm not stuck on every fucking boss." Like, I don't even know how much easier it is.
If
But
you're
then I was
worried
doing a
about it,
little
do
more
it.
research, and I heard that there are there's a story mode like menu where you can adjust sliders or something, or like some toggles like outside of just that most basic difficulty. I don't own the game yet, so but I mean, I was always planning on playing, and I really like
I
Red
haven't
Candle Games,
really
but I'm a little I just want to know um
Mhm.
I haven't really dug into
now
that
before I start.
menu yet, or even if I know what that
I
menu
think the only
is.
way you
I,
can
I
see
heard
that
there's like
is if you choose story mode, because when you
is
choose
it not something
standard,
you
there's
can
no,
change difficulty settings as you play or
I don't
anything
think
like that?
so, but
to
I
my
also I haven't
knowledge,
tried.
no.
So you can
Yeah,
get to a boss and then say fuck this and turn it down.
I
I gotta
don't
look at
know.
those options. I gotta look at those options.
I will
But
maybe check during the break. I'll like boot it up and see if I can
yeah, I'm
find what.
because I'm kind of curious because I've come to like realize I know what I like in games and I know where I don't want to get stuck in games and I
Right.
like hard games. If it's an RPG, a strategy game, give me the hardest setting I can find, right? But look, I just don't love Sekiro and I don't love bosses. I don't. A lot of people play Souls
Brent,
games for bosses. Not me. Not me.
Brad,
It, it,
Brad, Brad. Prince says you can change it to story mode anytime.
Okay,
Perfect.
there we go.
Perfect,
Boom,
perfect,
boom.
perfect. So how's the story? I heard so this is a
Story's pretty
developer
cool.
that makes horror story games. I played
So,
the demo
so,
for this and I was like, "Oh, this got some pretty good vibes." How's
It's
that
pretty
so
for
what
you?
I
cool.
will say is being, just under 3 hours in, honestly, like at least a third, if not half of what I played so far has been story. There's a decent amount of story to this game kind of in between areas, what is what is it called, exposition, like
Yeah.
exposition dumps of like, here's a little more information about the past, and they handle it in a very graceful way. I really really like the art style, the aesthetic, the music, the sound design.
It's got a
Like,
vibe. It's got a
yeah,
nice vibe.
this is definitely like the same vibe of like when Hollow Knight came out. Like it very much has that feeling of it's just pleasant to interact with this game.
So you know how Hollow Knight very much kind of like the way it tells its story is very reminiscent of Dark Souls and that everything is kind of like mysterious and obtuse in a way, but like that's part of the appeal. This doesn't quite. I agree with Nolan's comparison to Hollow Knight just in terms of like the full package and how it died, but it tells its story in a very different way because like
Hmm.
the draw of the story in this game, like because it actually has like characters with names and dialogue and they talk and like the main character here is like basically as far as I can tell is like he's a member of a civilization on a different planet or whatever and he forms a relationship with this young human kid, and that's kind of the crux of like it's basically these two people of different species of different ages becoming friends and
Different
like
beliefs too.
yeah different belief systems, and he's like trying to explain his belief system, the other one's like, and the kid just has this very much like aloof kind of like, well, that's a weird
Hmm.
way to look at things, and like they just spend a lot of their time talking about their different civilizations, and it's actually a really cute relationship to kind of see blossom, and I really like that stuff. And then there's also this like backstory where like you don't really know what happened to Yi, the main character, that led him to on this like quest to kill all these dudes. But you're getting they're trickling out like breadcrumbs to
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
you will literally have like flashbacks of like story from like Yee's like childhood, even like
yeah,
past like
and all that
interactions
stuff's
and stuff
good.
like that. Mhm.
It's
Oh,
good. I
dude,
like it.
so I could definitely understand someone who maybe is having a lot of difficulties with the gameplay, just doing this in story mode. I understand why the story mode is there because they think it honestly. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say Hollow Knight couldn't use a story mode, but I mean, like, what story is there? Kind of in Hollow Knight,
Yeah,
it's one
Well,
of
it's
those
just kind of
it's
like
a
the
things.
different kind of story.
Soulsian
Well, that's what I'm
story.
saying. Whereas this actually has, so far, like I said, only 3 hours in, but so far it has a pretty decent story, and I could understand someone wanting to play this for the story.
Yeah, and 15 hours in, it hasn't shown any sign of getting less interesting. In fact, if anything, it just keeps getting more and more enticing. So I'm really like this game. This game has me like hook, line, and sinker. I'm in.
Mhm.
Um, it's funny. Like we've been talking because so Nolan, you drafted this for
Mhm.
Fantasy Critic, and we've been kind of like waiting for like all week. Like, why are the reviews not here? First of all, I don't think they sent review codes out ahead of the game's release, which for whatever reason. So like at this point, it only has like 4 reviews, but it's finally charted, and it's doing well. I think it's like an 85 right now or something. But like I think it's
I
because
think
like
the
this is a
developer said this
challenge.
pre-sale. So okay. Do you think this game has the opportunity to blow up? I mean, do you think like word of mouth so like that's the thing with Hollow Knight, word of mouth. When
Oh, it
that
was
thing
all
came
word of
out, it
mouth.
came out
Yeah.
like the worst timing ever, right?
Hmm.
It came out around like Breath of the Wild, Horizon. It was
Dude,
like March when the Switch came out.
when I was streaming Hollow Knight, the fucking like lead, some of the lead people for Team Cherry were in our chat, just because
Yeah.
there were so few people who even knew about the game. That the fact
People,
that us, I'm not saying we're not popular streamers, but the fact
well,
that they were in our stream because no one else was like streaming the game.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, it was a very like just quiet launch. What I will say is I was kind of curious about that for this game. And so I went to Steam and I was like, I want to try to find Nine Souls without typing in Nine Souls, and it was kind of hard to find.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
went through
Steam.
like the lists of like recent
Yeah, I
releases
was
and
like,
that kind of
oh,
stuff.
show me new releases. Couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, show me new indie releases. Couldn't find it. I'm like, okay, well, show me new
Eh,
like
I'd be a little
roguelike.
worried
Didn't see.
about Steam and
You sent me a
Yeah.
Valve
thing with
and
the
the
concurrent
Chinese
players.
government.
Mhm.
You sent me a thing with
Yeah.
like concurrent players, right? Compared to like some of the more recent Metroidvanias that were like Zhao, I think
No,
was
no,
one
no,
of
no.
them.
It's doing really well. There's already like over 2,000 reviews. Like this is a slow starter, but I think this thing's really gonna like pick up pace. I mean, like Hollow Knight. Like Hollow Knight is now one of the best-selling indie games of all time. There's over 300,000 reviews for Hollow Knight on Steam. A game
Jesus.
that no one paid attention to now has over 250,000 reviews. That's insane.
I see a lot of
Um,
people
I don't
like
even think there's a
on
Souls game that has that many reviews.
I think I see a lot of people on social media, like especially like critics and whatnot, who are just like slowly starting to talk more and more about. Patrick Klepek recently was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be I'm gonna be screaming at people to play this game for the rest of the year, and I was like, that might be the case, but I do think it's gonna build momentum. But I also think we live in a time where everybody's just like obsessed with waiting for a Silk Song, which understandably so, and it's kind of like if it's a Metroidvania and it's not Silk Song, suddenly it's like an uphill battle trying to get people interested in it, even though it's
Mhm.
not. It shouldn't necessarily be that way. Um, but if you're waiting for something like Silk Song and you want something that's like deep and like enticing with a really cool art style and a really cool story, because that's what people want from Silk Song, this is absolutely something you should pick up and play. I feel this feels like something I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the year,
I mean,
potentially.
Sekiro has 200,000 reviews. This is just indie Sekiro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, Hollow
Um,
Knight, but
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Nine Souls. Nolan and I are both still playing it, so neither one of us can attest to like what it's like in the end game or whatnot. But
Mhm.
pretty cool
I
fucking
mean,
game.
currently, yeah, like to Brad's point, I just kind of looked up as well. There's 2,300 people playing it, an all-time peak of 6,500, which is not horrible.
That's not
Oh, that's
bad.
really
Um,
good. That's really good.
especially with the game only having been out for so long. Currently, that puts it at the 244th game on Steam with active players. But I mean, that being said, for an indie game that has had fairly little marketing around it, and like I said, I would also maybe recommend other people similar to what I did, just go to Steam and
Oh
kind of try
man,
to click around and find Nine Souls. It's kind of difficult. Like, I don't know if there's a way they could like throw Steam a couple bucks and be like, hey, can y'all like show our game to somebody?
yeah,
Because I'm looking at like new and trending, and like, Field of Glory Kingdoms has 41 reviews and it is positive,
I
and
could
that's on there, but Nine Souls isn't.
I could
Well,
see this
it's
popping up
decent.
and rising to the top a little bit later with like a sale or something. Um,
Yeah.
but who knows? Mr. Papa Shot in
Brad,
chat
just
says
FYI,
Hellblade
Field
2
of
would
Glory
kill for that.
Kingdoms, 163 concurrent players.
Oof.
Sure. I just don't think Valve is gonna front page a controversial developer like
I guess
this
so.
You think that's still
because,
what's haunting them? I
dude,
guess probably.
dude, I'm telling you,
Very good chance of that. Yeah.
there's a very
That
good
sucks.
chance of that,
You think
right?
that maybe that's what's holding reviews back too? Some.
Valve didn't sell Red Candle games, they didn't sell Devotion on there for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, when does Valve give a shit what they sell, right? Like, had some real legitimate pressure. I'm imagining, right? We've seen it many times with many large organizations.
Well, let me just
You know,
say, I just want to say it is so cool to see a studio like Red Candle who makes, like you said, Detention and what's the other one? Detention and
Devotion,
Devotion.
Devotion.
They both start with D, so I always forget. Oh,
Yeah, Detention is cool. Not, they made a movie based on Detention, on the indie game horror game Detention. They made a movie based on it.
I had no
Crazy,
idea.
crazy.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I thought, oh well, surely the game was based on the movie, but then I found out that the movie came after the game, and I was like, that shit's wild. Oh, tornado took Nick. Oh, there he is.
sorry about that.
Yeah,
My headphones. It happens once every podcast. My fucking headphones die in the middle of it. I'm gonna get
but
some new
they're still
fucking
great headphones.
I love these headphones, but they just
You got, you got.
killing me, man.
I hate those headphones,
killing-
and they're not even mine.
Okay, yeah, so sorry. What I was trying to get out before I got rudely interrupted by my stupid headphones was that it's so cool to see a studio that made games like Devotion and Detention turn around and make a game like this that is not
Yeah.
only just a complete genre shift, but like a really fucking competent genre.
Gorgeous.
Like it's gorgeous. It's one of the best,
Mhm.
smoothest playing Metroidvanias. Like I feel like to me this is feels like it's up there with Hollow Knight in terms of 2D
for sure.
Metroidvanias. Like it's pretty
Well,
spectacular. Like
come
it's
on, you gotta
wild.
finish it, man. Hollow Knight.
I do got to finish it. Hollow Knight
I mean,
is
Brad,
a
people
goat.
were also saying this about Hollow Knight, like 2 hours into the game too.
And that's not to discredit, like I said, like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It was an incredible feeling Metroidvania that came out this year, and I still think it's one of the
Say
best
it, Nick.
games that I've
Say
played
it,
this year.
Nick.
But it's fucking ugly. I'm just kidding. I'm
It's
just
so
kidding.
unfortunate that it's hideous.
I mean, you said it, not me. But anyways, yeah, Nine Souls, pretty fucking cool. Um, and since we've veered off the original plan for the night, why don't we just go ahead and pass it over to Brad to talk about his game,
Yeah,
and we'll
my
do
game
all
won't
we'll do the Summer Game
won't take
Fest in
so
the
long.
second segment.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
my
just
game won't take so long.
As an FYI, I'm trying to.
Uh-huh.
When was the release date of
Of
Hollow Knight?
oh
2017.
god,
Release date was February 24th, 2017. They didn't hit 6,000 players until June of 2017.
Wow.
so
And
there's still time. There's
Nine
still
Souls has
time.
already hit 6,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, that being said, also
Hollow Knight's
Hollow Knight's
like Steam Boom probably came after the Switch Boom that didn't even come out till the following year.
Yeah, and that's what Prince was saying in chat. That yeah, if you look at it, yeah, 2018, yes, a huge jump in players. In 2018, 10,000 concurrent players. In August of 2018. So yeah, that tracks. But yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
then I guess anything could happen.
I've been playing a fun little I don't know, indie game.
Do it.
This is a game that came out earlier this year. I heard some people talking about it. I think it was one of those games. It was like very early on in the year. People were like, "What the fuck is Mini Shoot Adventures? And why is that got like a fucking high 80s on Open Critic?" Right? Because the Fantasy Critic were always like, paying attention to the scores, and we've come to
We
realize that like a indie game just scoring really well is just really hard sometimes. It feels impossible. And this
It
one with
does.
multiple reviews stayed in the high 80s, and then it became, wait, what is this shit? And then I started hearing people talking about it, and like whatnot. So I was like, fuck it, I'll circle back to it. It feels like a good.
This looks like a
Um,
bullet hell mixed with a Zelda.
but well, Nick set it up for us.
I don't.
Um,
I'm just commenting what it looks like. I don't know what it actually
no, I mean
is.
that's exactly what it is. This is
Oh
a
shit!
Zelda game, shoot 'em up. So like one of like my oldest fucking takes, like since I was started podcasting with David in 2007, you know, I've been saying it since before that, since before I had a microphone in my face, was that I always love the idea of shoot 'em ups because they feel good, because like the different types of like fire and spread shots, and I just love the feel and look of bullet hell games. We didn't call them bullet hell games back then. Shoot 'em up
Why
games
didn't you
was
play
great,
Returnal, bitch?
but I hate what I always hated about the genre is that it seems so locked to its arcade roots, right?
Mhm.
Meaning that they're very like arcadey, like balls difficult. They were designed to steal your coins, right? They were arcade games designed to steal your coins, so they're super hard. There's 5 fucking levels, and the game's fucking impossible. And you play it over and over and over again until you memorize every single pattern until you finally beat the game. That's that genre, and like there's very the genre for a very I mean, it's just one of those genres that just kind of stayed comfortable being
Uh,
like a very arcadey. While most genres kind of, when they moved to consoles, became something besides just a coin, muncher, right? And I always hated that, right? Because I've argued about like I hate how these games have lives, and you run out of lives and continues, and you start the whole fucking thing over. But I love everything else about shoot 'em ups. And ever since then, I was like, "Oh, I want something that's like a shoot 'em up, but something more like a RPG or whatever." And since then, there's been stuff like that, but this is one that heard was super good. So I was like, "Fuck, I like Zelda, and I want shoot 'em ups to be something more than just a goddamn arcade game." And so we have Mini Shoot Adventures, which is it's a Zelda. You're exploring a world. There's dungeons. You're figuring out how to get to the dungeons. You're leveling up your character, which I guess is not something you like explicitly do in
What's
Zelda, right?
weird is that like it looks like a top-down Zelda game with like complete with like the trees and the bushes and everything, but it looks like you're still piloting like a little tiny ship.
You are piloting a little tiny ship. In
Yeah.
fact, all the NPCs are just ships. No one really talks in this game. I don't think there's any fucking words in this game. Everything is just like icons and stuff, like I unlocked an NPC. He didn't say anything to me, but he appeared back at like the main hub area, and he had like a little bubble over himself that looked like a new gun, and with a gem and a times 30. And I was like, "Oh, I guess I give him 30 of these red gems and I get a new gun." And sure enough, that's what it was. And there's no words there. It was just, this is a very like no nonsense. You want to just pick up a game and just play it, not worry about fucking tutorials and people fucking talking and walk and talks and shit. This is a game that just goes, and it it's I think it's better for it. This is like super easy to pick up and play, super fun. It feels good. I mean, obviously the visually it's like relatively simple, coming after Nine Souls is a little unfair, but don't let that fool you. Like it's simple, but it's very like everything is very clear and bright and colorful, which I think is good in a bullet hell game, because you get into some of the crazier like Japanese style like bullet hell games, and it's like, what the fuck am I looking at? How am I ever supposed to parse like what I'm supposed to dodge here? Because it's just insane. Like it's all
Yeah.
over the screen, just insane. Here, it's bright, colorful. It's really easy to see what you got to dodge, and it feels good. It feels good to play, and because shoot 'em ups feel good to play, and you would think, well, boss variety, enemy variety, how do you really mix it up if everything's just a ship kind of shooting a bunch of shit at you? But they managed to like with the AI of the different enemies, it's kind of like a Geometry Wars, right? Coming across different enemies in Geometry Wars, they just kind of have different like behaviors and patterns and just things to kind of keep you on your toes. And I'm consistently surprised by how much this game is. It's not the deepest game in the world, but it is mixing it up enough to like stay fresh and just to keep everything surprising, but like moving forward. Like this, I can't stress enough. Like this is a very addictive game that it's probably only what 10 hours long. Depending if you're trying to like get everything right. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Um, but like it's like it feels good. It feels lean. It feels lean and it feels fun
Lean.
and it feels
Yeah.
addictive. And like I understand the scores that it's getting now because what every indie game on the planet gets an 82. So why is this one getting an 88? Why is that fair? And I get it now. It's because sometimes lean is better. I think it's why Balatro scored as high as it did because it doesn't have any bullshit weighing it down or pissing anyone off. This is just a well-made game with like good world design. Like the power-ups feel good. It's like super easy to like refund all your points instantly. In fact, so much so that depending on like the boss I'm fighting, where this one is like kind of hard to stay close to. So I drop some like points out of like movement speed or bullet speed and pump them all into range so I can stay a little further away. Or you come across races in the world and I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to drop all my points in power, put all my points into speed, movement speed and my boost speed so I can win this race, and it's so easy to do that in the games. Like, sure, fuck it. Like they're, and they expect you to do that. And it's good, man. Like this is the perfect Steam Deck Switch. I don't know what's on. Maybe it's only on Steam right now. Steam Deck palette cleanser. We've had so many long RPGs this year.
It's been a wild year for
Indie games that
long
are like
games.
hard, like Nine Souls, or you have to think too damn much, like Laser Eyes or Animal Well. Just it seems like every game this year requires either a lot of time or a lot of brain power or both, a lot of dedication. And this one just seems like the one you pick this up and when you're pissed off while playing that Elden Ring DLC, maybe turn on a little mini shoot adventures and you're just gonna have a rootin' tootin'
A rootin'
blast.
tootin' blast.
Yeah, a few puns in there.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna be honest. So like you talk about like kind of just being able to like switch off and not and just kind of get right down to it. Like I believe you. I'm looking at this footage and it's giving me anxiety. Like I'm
yeah,
watching.
dude.
I'm like go left, go right, no fuck, and you. Oh man.
No, but it feels good. It's not too difficult. And there are difficulty settings if you want them. You can make it harder. You can make it easier. And it's just good. Everything's clear. Like the map design. You unlock an NPC that'll like you go to him after you unlock a piece of the map, and he'll check off all of like the caves and secrets you find with a check mark if you found everything in that area. If you found everything in that
Ah
dungeon, he puts a
yes.
little check there. Makes it really easy to track everything if you're
Animal
trying to
Well
get
could use that.
100%. And I feel like a Metroidvania slash Zelda game. I mean, really, Zelda is kind of a Metroid style game that makes tracking really nice and breezy and easy. Like that's gonna be what gets people to like 100% a game, not just
Mhm.
how good the game is. Like make that stuff that quality of life really good. And man, yeah, I'll go all in. I'll 100% this game. I can already feel it. Um, it's nice. I recommend it. I recommend it to anybody here. If it's really fun, breezy.
Mini shoot adventures.
You look at it and it looks like, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, this looks slight, right?
No,
But
my first thought was it looks like
trust
Zelda.
me, it's charming and yeah. But I know. But there's a lot of indie Zelda clones that are
True.
kind of slight. They are kind of slight. They're about 5 hours. They have a few good ideas. Not much new here. This a lot of this is being carried by the fact that like sometimes like when a shoot 'em up is good, it's good. And like it feels like the difficulty feels good, the balance feels good. Like, I'm dying on bosses like, 3, 4 times before I finally beat them, and that feels good. Just seems well tuned, polished, honed. I like it. I like it.
Very nice.
I'll probably finish it, you know, in a few more sessions, and it's not the game that's probably going to be in my top 5 of the year, and that's fine. But like, not every game has to be a
Every
top 5
game
to be
needs to
worth
be.
playing,
Yeah.
unless you're on Nick's list. On
Unless
Nick's
you're, yeah,
list, you have
yeah.
to be in the top 5 to be
Fuck it.
worth playing. But on
I
everybody else's
fucking
list,
knew that was coming.
on everybody else's
This,
list, it could be number 9 and still worth it.
like Nick doesn't even
Nick's
make
the
top
one that
tens.
turned his number 9 spot into a statement. Okay, that's not on me.
My
That's on
number
him.
9. Why is it my number 9, not my number 10?
I don't know. It's
I'm
always
just
your
curious.
number 9 for some reason.
But like, give me an example. What, I don't even remember what my number 9s have been.
I don't have to. You know what it is. You know what it is, and I can get inside your head. It's like,
Please do.
It's the one right on the edge, but you want to put it on your list anyways because fuck everyone else. I'm making a statement here.
Wouldn't
And
that
then
be my
you're
number
looking at your
10?
list. No, listen. You get it on your list because you're like, fuck you. No one else. And people were making fun of me for liking this game. It's going on the list. It's bumping off my number 10. And then you look at your list and then you go, yeah, but let's move it to 9. I feel like that happens every year. I feel like the 10 and 9 swap is at the last second. You know, Detroit become human, and
I feel like I feel
and I'm
compelled to like pull up my list now and look at my number 9s and be like, oh, you might be right. Be right.
Don't do it, Nick. Don't do it. Don't give me that power. I've already looked. That's not a good look.
I'm not exactly doubting you because yeah. Oh, 2022. My number 9, Steel Rising.
Yep.
That checks
That's
out.
the one.
2023. My number 9 was Amnesia: The Bunker.
There you go. Boom.
But that was
not enough people play. Love me my horror games. You know.
Man, but here we go. This one bucks the trend. Maybe. Yeah, it does. 2021. My number 9, Resident Evil Village.
What's number 10 that year?
Death's Door.
Boom. There you go.
You know what? I think I may regret. I think Death's Door should have been probably my number 9. You know what I mean? It probably should have been. I love that game. I still listen to the soundtrack for Death's Door every single fucking day at work. It is so good. But that's neither here nor there.
Yet. This feels like, man, the perfect Switch game, right? Like this. I mean, it's just a good handheld game.
And I also say,
know what kind of psychopath plays this on their TV. I don't know. That'd be
on
crazy.
That note, we didn't really mention it. I'm not sure, but Nine Souls plays like a dream on the Steam Deck. Just saying. If you're wondering, like day it came out, booted it up on my Steam Deck, no additional patches necessary, just out of the box, played like a fucking dream on the Steam Deck.
I mean, it
so just
probably
thought
wasn't
I'd
like a
point that
demanding
out.
game.
No. But like you never really know. Sometimes you install a game you don't think is going to be super intensive, and then you play on the Steam Deck and it's chugging at like 4 frames per second or something, for whatever reason. But anyways, yeah, Nine Souls great on Steam Deck as well. So we've talked about 2 games great on handhelds. Just worth mentioning. Okay.
I'm playing a game that I'll talk about next week.
Okay.
But that it also might play pretty well on a handheld.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm going to reach.
Also an indie game. I mean, let's be real here. What are we trying to say? Yeah, indie games they're good on handhelds.
That's true.
I guess I just meant this one's very pick up and play. But
Chris Davis, is the game that you're going to talk about next week an indie game?
It eventually got a publisher, but it started life as an indie game.
Wait,
okay,
indie game.
That makes it an indie game.
Is it Dave the Diver?
No.
Then it's an indie game.
That's the only criteria.
That's the only one.
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
confused about.
Only criteria. Okay. Anyways, since we have a little bit of time left in the first segment, let's go ahead and get the stuff from last week out of the way, and then we'll focus on predictions for Summer Game Fest in the second segment. So this shouldn't take very long. I only wanted to kind of hit the high points from last week's PlayStation State of Play and the Silent Hill transmission, starting with PlayStation. And again, we've been doing something new here. We've been doing trailer talks together as a group from 8 to 8:30 before the podcast on Tuesday nights. So if you want to catch Trailer Talk live, tune in for the live podcast recordings at that time. But we screened a couple of these tonight before the show. But I wanted to make sure we get in here because PlayStation did their big, I don't want to call it big, but they did a State of Play. I don't know if this is going to be their major showcase.
No, they have
for the
something
year
else
not,
coming, I believe, because I mean, from what I understand, they're still trying to launch a pro version of their console this year. So they gotta have something.
But I don't think
I'm sure they're gonna start teasing stuff like Tsushima too, right? You know,
but I don't think that'll necessarily be this month with everything else. I think they're gonna probably put some space between it.
I think there's rumors that it might not be till like September, which is crazy because it seems like it's getting pretty close to the holiday season. But if you think about it, the reason I think we're not seeing like a Tsushima 2 and stuff and like some of the bigger titles that they're probably working on is probably because when they reveal those, when they show those for the first time, they probably want it to be on pro hardware because it's going to look so much nicer. It
That's
doesn't make
probably true.
sense to even tease them now before the pro is out there.
I went back and I was listening to last week's podcast a little bit, and I listened specifically to our kind of predictions for the state of play. And let me just say, we fucking nailed the timing. We said specifically, we recorded it on Tuesday night, and we are like, let's just say because at this time they hadn't announced the state of play yet. We didn't even know if it was happening.
Mhm.
And we said, what if they just announced the state of play tomorrow morning for Thursday? And that is exactly what fucking happened. So I just want to get that out there. But
Yeah, because that's just how it is these days, right?
yeah,
As soon as people
it's
started like copying Nintendo's like little pre-recorded thing that you know, those turnarounds are super quick. Same thing's going to happen when Nintendo does something. We'll probably
yeah,
find out the day before and,
right.
but hey, it's
But
fine.
anywho, I don't want to talk about every little thing because obviously there's a lot of stuff there that happens that we don't necessarily care a ton about. Some of these things we'll talk about in trailer talk that we don't cover here. I want to hit the big things,
Can I
right?
say broadly without naming anything specific about some of that stuff we're probably not going to mention? It feels like Sony is doubling down on like on uh on stuff like made in like China or Korea. Like because this trend, right? Of like Stellar Blade was pretty successful. It was the number one game that came out that year. I mean that month.
Yes, you
And
mean this
and
year?
Genshin Impact, right? Huge. Lies of P was a Korean game that came out last year.
Right,
That
right, right.
these are regions that only put out mobile games, right? And now they're putting out bigger games, and I feel like we're starting to see more of those. And I'm
Isn't
pretty
Black
sure a
Myth
couple.
Wukong kind of in the same situation as well?
Black Myth Wukong is absolutely one of those, right? That's a Chinese studio, and I'm pretty sure that a couple of the games here that like the Souls likes, there's a couple of games here that look like Souls likes, Neo likes, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Right.
Pretty sure none of those are actually developed in Japan, and it's curious. It's interesting to see like these games coming out of these regions where you didn't typically see this stuff before, and it's
Right
kind of
around a
exciting
time
because
where
honestly that stuff looks pretty good, and that's always like the line, right? Like, what is this? I don't know what this studio is, but like, dude, I'll play this. This looks
and,
really good.
and it's all coming out right around a time when I'm competing for points by playing Japanese games. I think it's a
Yeah,
little
okay, well, get
suspect,
over
don't
it,
you
man.
think?
Like that, I don't know
Anyhow,
what it was. That Altara game, Legend of Altara, whatever the fuck.
yeah.
That
Mm.
looks pretty sick. But then the company puts out Antara, Ballad of Antara, puts out a statement like, by the way, this is free to play, and you're like, what? Okay, this is
Okay.
definitely not your typical Japanese studio. Free to play? That did not look like a free to play game. It looked like Elden Ring. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but I mean that's also, I guess, the world we live in now. So we'll see.
Yeah.
The
So right,
developer for
it's
this game, Tipsworks, is actually Chinese, Shanghai.
Hmm, hmm.
for all the Altara game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, I feel like I can tell. You put on a trailer, I feel like I can tell right away because again,
That's
a
racist.
no, well,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
it's a studio I've never heard of, and they're putting out something that looks so good. I'm like, I feel like I would know who this was, right? Because before it's like, oh, is this some new Capcom game, right? Is this some
Right.
new like Namco game? And then it's some studio you've never heard of. You're like, oh, this is someone's got some money somewhere because this looks good. And
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
I'm saying is there was a handful of those kind of games. Also that floating girl picture taking game. What the fuck was that? But it looked way too pretty for whatever the fuck that was, right? You know what I'm
Infinity
talking
Right.
about?
Nikki.
Infinity Nikki, right? It was like beautiful, colorful game, right?
Yeah,
With photography, and I'm like, this looks nice. And then you look at the new like Mana game coming out, and you're like, why can't the new Mana game look like this? Whatever.
Anyways, let's hit some highlights here real quick. Again, some of this stuff we don't talk about tonight will come up other places, but and this is not necessarily something that we're really that into. Maybe
No, you don't
because
have to talk about Concord. I mean,
you
it
want
was
to
just
mention it
like
just for the specifically for the fact that Sony is chasing a trend that's kind of been dying for the past few years, and now they're
no. Oh, you're talking about the
desperate.
hero shooter, but
Yeah,
Sony's been pushing games as a service for like the past year or
and I
two.
think they're
They've been
starting to
they've been
move
saying that
away
this is
from
going to
it.
be their.
I think they're starting to
Sure
move away
thing.
from it, but it's too late to pull the plug or like walk away from these things they've already put so much time and effort into. So like,
And they've shut
Concord
they're
down
was
just
some of
kind
these
of
probably
projects, Nick,
greenlit.
but you also understand they also just published Helldivers, right? Helldivers 2, which is like the best-selling game of the year and astronomically successful. And so at the same time, you're like, they're cutting projects and like maybe this is a bad idea. Helldivers comes along and is now like maybe telling them, oh, maybe this is a good idea. So I don't know if they're like trying to move away from this stuff now.
they've been making
Concord
weird
was
decisions
probably
though. So
greenlit around the time that they switched to the games as a service strategy,
yeah,
and that was
and it's
well
probably one of the
before
farthest
Bungie came
along.
online with Sony. And Bungie's experiences with Marathon and their interactions with Naughty Dog seem to be the primary reasons that are making Sony rethink their entire strategy, which they absolutely should. You should bet your
which
entire
considering
thing on
which
just having
considering
a.
they didn't have any qualms about canceling that Last of Us multiplayer game,
Or
and
Twisted
this is
Metal, damn it.
or
Or
Twisted
Twisted
Metal,
Metal.
Yeah.
and this
The
game
fuck
is
is
still coming out though. That kind of says something about
That's
it,
why
right?
people
Like
are
that
mad at
this
it, I
game.
think. That's why people are like, fuck this game, I think.
That's
Maybe
true.
a
That's
little
true.
bit.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Also, Guardians of the
Concord
Galaxy,
looks
Marvel
very Guardians.
comedy, people are
I
into it.
like the style. Some of the combat looks fun, but it's just like it's a hero shooter, and I don't want to like let myself even get interested in it at all because I just don't feel like it's gonna have the legs that it needs to have to like make me
Oh, but it
interested in
doesn't
playing
matter
it.
because it's not a game for you. And even if it
I mean, it
does,
really
you'd be
isn't.
like, oh,
No,
I guess that's nice for that company, but this ain't. I mean, I don't give a shit. So we'll see. I don't want
let's
any
move on.
company to struggle though.
Let's talk about the things that we do really care about a lot here. So Astrobot, I think, is a big one, right? So we were kind of
Of course.
hypothesizing. I mean, the whole industry was hypothesizing that we'd be seeing that it was heavily rumored that Astrobot would be announced, and most of
sure.
what was rumored came to pass. Uh, so Asobi announced their new Astrobot game, which is a fully fledged. I think this is a $60 to $70 product.
I don't think
Astrobot
we know the price
platformer.
yet, but we do know it's like a big, like
Yeah,
four
it's
times
getting
the size of that
It's like
it's getting a
six.
physical release.
PS5 game.
Yeah. It's 6 galaxies with over 80 levels.
Yeah, that's a lot.
80
That is
levels.
that is
Damn.
a lot.
I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah. So they tweeted a bunch of details about it, and we're gonna get another look at this game on Friday at the Summer Game Fest thing, and that's another reason I mentioned it. We're probably gonna get another close look at this game on Friday because pre-orders don't open for the game until Friday, so they must be timing that with some kind of like deeper dive. So we'll get a better idea. Like if they didn't show anything having to do with VR, I'm not saying it's gonna be there or not, but they haven't said anything about it. But like what's cool about it is that it looks like this looks like an Astrobot game that isn't designed around a piece of tech. It looks like it's built from the ground up, very much like Nintendo approaching a 3D Mario game in the sense that where it looks like it has a lot of variety. It's super
Looks
colorful. It has a
delightful.
lot of Yeah, it
It honestly looks like Rescue Mission meets Playroom. I mean, it looks like it's taken the best stuff from both of those games and just blowing it out into like a big, huge.
And
The
I
thing
think
is, do you think what's the audience for something like this? Do you think this? Obviously, it's probably going to review well, right? But like, does
Yeah,
this
I
thing
will.
sell well?
I think it will. I think it
I
will.
imagine it will.
That
I think there's
Sackboy platformer bombed, and granted, that wasn't like the flashiest game in the world, but
But that was actually a
you
pretty
know,
good game, though.
it was, and it was a known
Yeah.
character, and the original Little Big Planet was a very successful like project.
You know who I think this appeals to? I think this is going to appeal to people who miss the heyday of like games like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter.
But the question is, are there many of those people? Because even that Ratchet and Clank game that launched with the PlayStation 5,
Mhm.
that only sold like a couple million units. I
I mean,
copied.
here's the thing. I don't think
Seems
this is
crazy,
going to be.
but
I think this is going to be one of those games that like I don't think it needs to sell more than a couple million copies to be considered successful. Like
Yeah.
you're probably right.
like it's
But,
gonna,
I mean,
it's going to
these
be
days, who
using.
knows,
I don't
right?
think this is going to be like this is going to look astronomically better than Astro's Playroom. I think it's just going to be on a bigger scale. So like they're working with tech they've already been developing on for at this point 2 games or 2.
This is the perfect game to kind of like not moonlight, right? The because it's still going to keep going, but to to be the non-pro version of the PS5, because in a couple of
Mm.
years when there's a pro on the shelf and there's a non-pro on the shelf and they're doing bundles because they don't want to drop the price,
Oh,
then
Astrobot's an obvious bundle.
you're going to see this game
Oh, for
bundled with the
sure.
non-pro model
Yeah.
PS5 for like younger people. But again,
I can see this becoming. I can see this being a game that they even bundle with the pro version at some point.
the thing
Like,
is, the PS5 is, the pro version. Yeah, I'm actually curious to see what the pro version would look like. But it's what am I trying to say? The PS5 is a successful console, right? Doing quite well.
Yep.
Everyone, that last Astro game is on every PS5, and a lot of people have played Astro now. So I'm
and
curious,
this is the
right?
first. This is the first time we're seeing it on a state. Like, we're gonna see it on this big stage, front and center. I think they're gonna go big with this one because they want to establish Astrobot now as like more than just a tech demo or a mascot
Yeah,
character. They want it to be like
If they play their
platformer,
cards
big
right, they can
platformer.
make Astrobot their own equivalent to Mario, basically. And I think there is a significant thirst out there for a cute character platformer.
There's not
like
enough of
this.
those these
What about
days.
Sackboy?
Damn it.
There isn't. There really isn't. Outside
they,
of like,
they tried it with Sackboy, but it just didn't work out. I think
You know what I
there
think
were
it
some
was?
limitations there.
You know what I think it was, and this is not a knock against Little Big Planet, but I think it was the link to Little Big Planet, because a lot of Little Big Planet certainly wasn't a game that was for everybody, right? It didn't have the mass appeal. It was for a very specific
the first
subset
Little
of
Big
people.
Planet was really successful.
Like, I can tell you right now,
I think.
even though we talked about it here, and I know we were very positive about it here, and I didn't really make a conscious decision not to play Sackboy, but like part of me was looking at Sackboy as like a spin-off of Little Big Planet, which I was never really into. So this doesn't have that quote unquote baggage. So
But
you
bitch,
know,
you didn't play Little Big Planet. You don't know. Of course, you weren't a Little Big Planet fan. Fuck you. Long
And
live
Brad,
Mini
neither,
Molecule.
neither were a lot of people.
I
A
was
lot
trying
of
to
people
be
didn't play Little Big Planet.
I was
No,
trying to be as gentle as possible.
I
because-
know. Or by the time Sackboy came around, there was no Little
Look,
Big Planet
bitch.
fans.
Look,
I'm
bitch,
pretty sure
I
Little
never
Big Planet
said
3 sold dog shit.
I never said Little Big Planet was a bad game or anything. I'm just saying I know it was not my thing. It was not a game for me. But when Sackboy came along,
You don't know.
it was attached. It is related to a thing that I already associated with not being for me. This doesn't really have that. This is just a mascot platformer, which I think anybody could jump into and really enjoy. And if they play like Chris Davis said, if they play their cards right, I think this looks as cool and as colorful, as vibrant, as exciting to me as Super Mario Galaxy did.
also, to be clear,
I think this has Game of the
it
Year
looks nice,
potential
but let's not
written
get
all over
crazy.
it.
yeah.
Hey man,
I don't see Mario Galaxy brilliant set. I see bosses from Rescue Mission and a lot of nostalgia. And it's colorful, it's beautiful, and I know it's going to be good because I know Asobi makes good games. But let's reel it back a little bit. This shit ain't going to be Galaxy. I don't think so. If it is, hey, it's on my
Let's move
fantasy
on.
critic. But yeah.
let's move
I-
on. There's still other games to talk about.
One last thing I want to throw in here about Astrobot. I think that Sony is probably going to put out a demo for this, and I think that's what's
probably.
really going to sell people on it.
Potentially. I mean, there's a lot of things they have at their disposal.
There's a Astro demo on every PlayStation, so
That is
Yeah.
true.
I don't know.
Maybe they should just
people
use.
I work with who are casual gamers know what Astro is if they own a PS5 and they,
They should literally just remind people at the showcase, hey, by the way, everybody has this game, has a demo for this game, essentially. Go play
Yeah.
Astro's Playroom. Because it's fucking miraculous. And all right,
he's
anyways,
interacting with the nostalgia.
Four
more
or
directly,
five,
which is
4 or
nice.
5 levels out of like 80 put into a demo. That's a good taste. I think people will like that.
all right, let's move on real quick. A couple more big things we need to talk about. Monster Hunter Wilds. We got our first look at gameplay of Monster Hunter Wilds, which again, we're getting another close look on Friday. What?
Well, maybe we're getting another close look.
No.
on
They've said
Oh, there's
there is a gameplay demo of Monster Hunter Wilds on stage on Friday at Summer Game Fest.
I just want to say one of the new things they showed off are herds or stampedes or whatever. Like in the video, he's fighting multiple large monsters at once, which is not really something you did. I mean, you did in like the Rampage, right, and Rise, or you'd occasionally be slugging it at two large monsters going at it at once. But here he's fighting like 4 of the same, like a herd of the same large monster at once. pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the look of it. The fact that you can bring another weapon with you into a hunt and switch out on your
Oh,
mount,
that is cool.
so
That's a
exciting.
game changer.
It means I can go into a hunt with whatever, something I'm afraid of, right? Good monster hunter, you're afraid, damn it. And I'm afraid because I'm fucking around with a weapon that I'm not comfortable with. But if I can have a lance on my mount, when I'm feeling frightened and I don't want to feel frightened anymore, and I go grab my lance, like that, to me, that already changes like the whole monster hunter mindset. I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the mount, like there's no wire bug, but they did put a lot of emphasis on mounts, so that seems to be a big aspect of it. Which we also don't know
Which
a
is
lot
good.
about
I'm
how
glad they're
what this game
scaling
is
that back a
structured
little.
like. But it seems like traveling by mount is going to be a huge part of this, so I'm
Oh,
really
for
curious
sure.
to see what that looks like. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
can glide and stuff now.
this game looks fucking
Um,
gorgeous.
It looks gorgeous. Looks cool. I'm ready to see more for sure, though. I want more than just a taste.
A taste.
Do you think this is going to be like a? Granted, I've never played a Monster Hunter game. I know how weird that sounds, but like from my perspective, this trailer felt like a story thing. Like, do you think they're actually going to go the route of having a protagonist without a character creator?
No,
I don't think so.
no, I
Okay.
don't.
I don't
Because
think
I
so.
mean,
I think all
it's
those
all
characters
about
you
it's all
saw.
about the drip in Monster Hunter. You're getting parts to make the armor to look a certain way. I mean, you're going to be able to create a character. Now, the thing is, if I know a couple of y'all kind of jumped on more on with Rise, right? But Monster Hunter World was definitely more like story heavy than Rise was. I think they're going to kind of go back in that direction, and it's going to be
Okay.
a heavier emphasis on like a more cinematic story as you play Monster Hunter, which it's still a Monster Hunter. It's not a story game, but you know that new Smith looks pretty good.
Um,
I like
yeah,
her
yeah. Okay.
look.
So, a couple other things I want to
It's-
mention here before we move on. Skydance's Behemoth was re-revealed with a release window.
This is Fantasy Critic talk because we don't care about this game.
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah, yeah. We'll talk about it in Fantasy Critic. But I mean, I care about it. But like, it's a game that I didn't think we were going to see again, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see
This
what
is their
else they-
gameplay reveal, by the way.
Yeah,
This is like
yep.
been a long anticipated game, and it was quiet for a long time. And the developers are like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And it's going to change the VR landscape. It's going to be such a big deal, and it just looks like
Which-
a VR game. Some of these games you don't know how awesome they are until people start playing them. I'm like, dude, it feels so awesome. You can do
Yeah.
so much crazy shit. I caught an arrow out of the sky and I shot it back at an enemy, which he did in the trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that could be great.
And the only other thing, so like I said, there's a lot of little things that are going to come up elsewhere. I'm sure they showed something called Where Winds Meet, Ballad of Antara, Infinity Nikki, which are some of the games that you mentioned before. But the only other thing
Winds
of
Meet
note,
we'd seen before, but
Yeah.
stuff
only
looked
other,
good.
only other thing of note here is Silent Hill 2 got a release date of October 8th, which leads us
Say what
straight
you will.
into the thing that immediately followed the PlayStation State of Play, which is Silent Hill's second
Just gonna
quote-unquote
steamroll
transmission.
over Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the
yeah.
origins. They're going back.
I
They're
fucking
going
hate
back. It's the origin story of the Yellow Turban Rebellion or whatever the
It
fuck.
looks fun. It really does to me.
It's I'm just kidding. Silent Hill, Nick.
I'm serious.
No, sorry. This is just me doing some on the cuff editing here of this list. So yeah, Silent Hill 2 got a deep dive. Well, we got a cinematic trailer at the State of Play, and then they did like a hour-long transmission thing from Konami where they focus entirely around Silent Hill 2, and they gave it the proper like reveal and talked about the cast and like showed a bunch of different aspects of the game, not just focus on combat, which I think was so necessary, especially after that last one that they did. Which I said it during trailer talk today. I think the biggest mistake they made from a marketing perspective was ever coming up with a combat trailer for a game like Silent Hill 2.
Nick.
It's just
there's a lot of
it's just
combat in those
weird.
games, and it sucks. So whatever.
No, but like it just
Silent Hill
felt so
sucks. There's combat in it, and it's bad.
it felt so reactive. And here's the thing: I don't think the combat in this remake looks bad. I just don't think it's important
kinda
enough to focus an entire trailer around. And suddenly, it dominated the conversation. And boom! Suddenly, all people are talking about is the combat, which has never been the focus of a Silent Hill game.
The sad reality is there ain't that many people talking about Silent Hill much these days. Anyway,
That is true. That is true. But they're
but
obviously
hey,
trying to change that.
Cutscenes look good. Cutscenes look good. They seem
I
well
think
made.
this game. I think this game cutscenes and all. Like, first of all, I think most of the cutscenes we saw were in engine, if not all of them. I think this game, from top to bottom, I think looks pretty stunningly beautiful. Um, I'm into the way.
Stunningly beautiful.
I think this game looks fucking gorgeous, especially when when you get a good when you get a good look at like exterior shots where he's like walking around the streets of Silent Hill and like the fog effects. I think look really nice.
Yes.
It's cool. It's cool to see
atmospheric, sure.
it's cool to see a Silent Hill game where the fog effects are not there to mask the bad tech underneath. So I think it
I like
looks
when he
great.
gets pissed at the girl.
So
That's
no.
he's being
So-
so nice to this little girl,
And then she calls him a fart face like
well,
3 times.
Well, it just reminds me of when I get pissed at like Henry or something, right? Like he's trying so hard to be nice to her. He's like, "Oh, hey, what the fuck's going on here?" And she's like, "Oh, I was hanging out with your daughter a year ago." And he's like, "What the fuck?" But then he's like trying to be nice again. Yeah, that's good. It's good acting. Good acting.
No, on that
He's
note,
like, "Shut the fuck up."
like as we were watching this thing, there was a few people that kind of jumped on, like, obviously there's a lot. This is, like you said, Brad. This is going to be a game where people are going to be very critical, as they should be. It's a very famous game being remade. So, but like a lot of people jumping maybe a little too early on certain things. Like people were like, "Oh my god, they've completely changed the character. Like Laura is like, she's not a little bitch anymore. She just looks like this nice little girl." And then like 5 seconds later, she like locks him in a room and calls him a fart face. And I was like, "Oh, she's still a little bitch." People were they didn't wait for the other shoe to drop is the problem. So I think most of what they showed here looks really good. They showed like some combat, which was nice because they were showing things like kneecapping nurses and like dropping them so you can pull out melee weapons and stuff, which I think is cool, like a cool addition. I think combat looks more competent than it ever has in a Silent Hill game, so that's neat, I guess. But like all the stuff, like tonally and exploration wise, I think it's striking all the right notes here. Like for me, as long as they stick to the story and they just find ways to make the world more interactive, I'm all in, man. I think this looks pretty stellar. During the thing, they didn't say anything about like the other games that I think people have been waiting to hear about, like Silent Hill F and Townfall, which are maybe the more interesting projects because they're just unknowns. They spent the rest of their time talking about the movie that they're making, which I didn't realize up until this point was like an actual movie about Silent Hill 2. Like they're literally going to release this remake, and then the movie is just Silent Hill 2 in movie form. And I don't know, man. I don't think it looks all that great, but then again, I don't know. It's like the director's talking about the movie and they're showing literal shots of the movie where he creates like the same iconic like camera movement that's in the game, and it just doesn't work the same way in a movie as it does in a game. And it's almost like it's almost like, so you're really just trying to recreate this thing like shot for shot, which I don't think is the way to go here. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. The only thing I really care about right now, I have the blinders on, is Silent Hill 2, and that's officially coming October 8th of this year, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope it's good. I hope they deliver on something. I hope people can get behind it and give it credit where credit is due. And if it's bad, it's bad. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt for now.
Bad. But the thing is, what does this game have to be like actually make people happy?
I mean, realistically speaking, there's no world. There's no world, I think, in which this, like, because here's the thing: back in 2002 or whatever, when Silent Hill 2 actually came out, like, even though it's widely considered to be one of the best horror games ever made, I could be wrong, but I think if you go back and look at the reviews, like the actual critical reviews of the game, it wasn't getting 9s and 10s. You know what I mean? Like it's still a kind of a janky mess. In some cases,
it got some vitriol back in the day.
What?
Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so I think we'll talk about fantasy critic stuff later. Let's move on.
Well,
let's take
real
a break.
Quick, I missed
It's at
the
89 on Metacritic.
I missed the Silent Hill event. Did they talk about the other Silent Hill stuff?
I just said that.
Sorry. Well, I guess.
They did not talk about Silent Hill F or Townfall, which are the other two things that we know about.
Okay.
At
All
this
right.
point.
Thank you.
They just did Silent Hill 2 for like 90% of it, and then they did a short thing about the movie,
Okay.
which is a Silent Hill 2 adaptation.
Well, hopefully that means we don't get
Adaptation.
the AI generated quote unquote web show that they had going on.
Oh no! You mean the Ascension thing they've been doing? No, they didn't
Maybe
say
I don't remember the
anything
name.
about that. No, that's the thing that's been going for a year now or
Wait, is that
months. I don't
still
know.
going?
It's still going. Yeah, but nobody cares about it. Or the
Jesus.
people. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's not something I care about. So whatever. Um,
I have no
anyways,
idea.
let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we're gonna focus on some predictions. We're gonna hand the reins over to Chris Davis. He's gonna give us some predictions. We'll talk about Summer Game Fest, and then we'll do a little Fancy Critic update and wrap up with the 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. You made it, Nolan. How's the weather looking?
797.
797. There are tornadoes like south of us.
Multiple?
One I'm aware of. I don't know. I've not been paying that. Like I've not been like staring at the radar. I know Bernadette has. She kind of updated me a couple times. I'm gonna go check in with her though.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Amid its many puzzles, creepy scares, flurries of combat, Silent Hill 2 has moments that are so human and painful, forget about horror for a moment, that they elevate the experience from a mere video game to a jarring, unsettling look at pain, loss, despair, and dread. 100 out of 100.
Okay, that's okay. One review. That's I didn't
No,
say
I'm
those reviews
saying
didn't
there's
exist.
there's 34 reviews here. It's an 89 on Metacritic. This is a well-received video game.
Okay, but also it came out at a time where there was almost nothing like it. Do you know how many games
there
that
was
that
plenty of
review
Resident
you're
Evil
just
games.
you know how many games that review you just read could be
You are
describing in
backpedaling. This is a
2024?
well-received video game.
Okay, again, I don't have the reviews pulled up in front of me, but like
I do.
look, listen. If you were just released Silent Hill 2, the original Silent Hill 2 right now, I don't think it would be getting the same scores.
Okay, that's a unfair comment, though. Unfair
I just
stipulation.
why? I'm just saying.
You release any game from 2001 right now, like Devil May Cry or Grand Theft Auto
No,
3 or whatever. I mean,
I'm
people are gonna be
talking
like, "What the
about.
fuck is this shit?"
Listen to me, Brad.
Zone of the Enders.
Okay. Is it-
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Look. I'm not even talking about if you just take the technology differences and the gap out of the equation altogether. I'm talking about if just like the bones of the game stayed in place and the story was told the exact same way with like modern tech, and you released it today. I don't think it would be getting 9s and 10s. I think it would be like people, I mean, especially if it came out and nothing else changed. So like you're looking at like all the other horror games that have come out in the past 10 years that are like influenced by Silent Hills and all this shit. I think it would just they would look at it as another one of those with maybe
well, then
a little
I've
more.
lost the plot on this.
I mean, I
conversation. I don't
I
even
kind
know.
of have two then, I guess. I don't know what you want me to say. Like I'm just like you asked what this remake would have to do to be considered successful, and I'm like, I don't even think the original in today's environment would be as successful as it was when it came out.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
my
but
point.
I don't think what. Then what a remake needs to do it needs to be as successful as the original as it needs to be as good and relevant to today as that was back then.
But this is not going to do because here's the thing: they know that they
I mean,
can't
Resident Evil
fuck
2
with,
remake was.
they can't fuck with the story is like if you fuck with the story of Silent Hill 2 in
They
any
don't have to fuck
significant
with the story. The story is still great.
no, but that's what you just said. Like you would have to make it as modern and relevant as like that implies that you would have to like change the story somehow, doesn't it?
No, not at all.
Okay,
I think the story stands the test of time. It's the gameplay that doesn't.
we are on two different pages then because here's the thing: if that's your argument and they just make a game that is technologically more impressive and feels better to play, which I think it looks like it probably is, then it's going to be amazing. But I don't think it's going to get 9s and 10s. And I
No,
think the
I
story is
don't
good.
think so either.
I think the story
like
is going to
I
remain
think it could
relatively
get.
unchanged.
Yeah, but there's more to a game than story and
Okay,
combat.
what are we talking about here then? Like I'm trying to find the point here because
I'm
If you're
curious
saying
what.
the story is not going to change and it doesn't need to change, but
Well,
everything else
the
needs to
presentation
change,
of the story, the plot doesn't need to change, the script doesn't need to change,
and I
but
think I think they're going to modernize all those things. But here's the thing, and from what I've seen, they've done that. They appear to be doing that pretty well. Like I again want to reference that Dust Golem thread is insane. How much detail he goes into, and how many comparisons he's able to make, and how many new details he's able to point out. And like I think about that, and like it seems like they're doing a lot of smart stuff.
you
And
got to make a good horror video game. And I think Silent Hill 2 was a good horror video game in 2001, and I don't think it's a good horror video game in 2024. Um so you
I,
can't, but see, I think Resident Evil 2, I got thinner. What? I'm not getting thinner, dog. Uh, that's weird.
that's probably someone who hasn't been here in like 8 years.
The uh Resident Evil 2 is a game though that holds up, but they did modernize that, right? Like
Yeah.
the reason that Resident Evil 2 was successful is because they took some ideas that were like they dabbled with in the original, and they fleshed it out into something that is much more modern, like with the Mr. X stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the combat in general, right?
Go look
So
at that thread
it
and
is
look
still
at
very much that
there's
original game, but like the modern Resident. I mean, they had a blueprint, right? They were kind of building off of Resident Evil 7, and they're like, well, how do we turn like a classic Resident Evil into that? And they did that, and it worked out great. Silent Hill,
here's the thing. Everybody loved the formula of
you know what
classic Resident.
it is?
Everybody loves the
Story expectations.
Everybody loves the classic Resident Evil formula. Not everybody feels the same way about the Silent Hill formula, right? Like the formula is not what what
Yeah,
made these
because
games
it's
successful.
not really good. So you would need. Okay, I think I know what it is. I think like story and presentation and writing, and the fact that it like felt very mature was ahead of its time back then. That story, this story, it doesn't stand out anymore. It doesn't stand out anymore. Like there are much more
Which is
like
my point.
deeper, more interesting stories now.
I'm saying
So
they're gonna
I
do
think at
that,
that
and
point you
it's
have
not
to
gonna
make a
score as
good,
well.
but it's still good.
Yeah.
It's just not alone, right? And it wasn't alone back then, but you know what I mean, right? There was few video games that were doing mature storytelling and like presenting it in such a way back then. So that's
But,
why it stood
but
out.
listen,
So now it's still good. It's just more competitive. That stuff has to stay good, but the horror video game, it has to be a good horror video game. It has to be like there
and
has to be
I
something with
think
the design that is like
again,
this is fun to play. You can't just be a copy.
go and read that like 400 tweet long thread from Dusk Golem. It's insane how much he gleaned
Say
from that.
two of the things in that thread.
Dude, I would have to literally go pull it up. Like he's literally doing like side by side comparisons, showing he's like showing a scene, and he's like, this looks very different from the original, but I can tell you, I think this particular scene that we're seeing here is the equivalent to this. It looks different. They've made these changes. Here's why I think they might have made these changes. Here's the implications of why these changes might have on the story. There's even like little details like his reflection. Like one of the things I remember the most maybe is like you can like knock out like he can walk up to like cars and like bust out their windows and shit with the pipe or whatever, and he walks up to a window and his reflection in the window looks like Pyramid Head, but you almost don't even notice it because the first thing you do, you walk up and you smash it. But like for a
Mm.
split second, you're like, was that Did he look like Pyramid Head in the fucking window? That's crazy.
Okay,
Like
so
little things like
if they
that.
do stuff like that, then that could surprise a lot of people, maybe. But then again, if they do that stuff and it's like cheesy or like
That's yet to be
referency or
seen.
whatever, like it's got to be
That's yet to be
done
seen.
well.
But here's what I'm saying: if they don't change the story, they make it feel more modern. It feels nice to play, and it is just a really good reinterpretation of that game without dramatically changing anything significant to make it be like a completely different thing. I think it's gonna get like high 70s, low 80s, which I think is fine. But I don't know. We could talk about this in circle for hours. I haven't even
Mm.
walked away.
You
I'm
say
gonna get some
that.
water. I'll be right
I
back.
bet we would. If it does enough new cool things, like what you were saying, I think it could. Think about the Dead Space remake. That was a game that I think we all expected to score worse than it did. That was basically a 90. That was one of my dubs from last year's Fantasy Critic, and we were really surprised. Like it did just
The big,
enough new stuff while
the big
while
difference
more.
here is it's Blooper. They have a lot to prove. Oh
You're
no.
right.
Uh-oh.
You're right. They have a lot to do.
Nolan, what's it say?
All right.
It's okay. Just a kid got kidnapped. It's not a tornado.
I'm probably gonna not do the second half of the show.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Can you keep us posted,
Um,
please?
yes, I will
Yeah.
keep you posted for sure.
Well,
but I'm going
but
to
no
walk away.
expectation. Like if your power goes out and you lose signal, don't worry about us. We're
I
gonna
think that's
assume
the
not
least
the
of his
worst.
worries.
You know, it's not
Yep.
like I'm gonna fly down there to dig you out of your home.
Yep, that's
I wish
fine.
you the best. Get in
Cool.
the tub.
Bye, y'all.
Be
Hope you
safe.
cleaned it
Pup.
recently.
Yep.
And all right, since you have to reorganize the scene for a second, I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like it's a tricky thing because Silent Hill 2 is so beloved. If it is surprisingly, people are expecting the worst, or at least expecting to not have to care about this. If they make a game that is surprisingly good, I think that's going to be like a good vibe situation. And I think you're not going to be worrying about stuff like, I don't see a game where it's like, oh, this is a Silent Hill 2 remake. They kind of nailed the story and the characterization and stuff. And yeah, the combat's not great, but like, man, this is Silent Hill to the bone. Silent Hill 2 is still one of the most beloved horror games of all time. You know, I don't see someone giving that a 7. I don't. I see it as a success because a Silent Hill, maybe that's what I'm sort of talking around. I think for Silent Hill game, there's a lot of whatever Silent Hill games. It just has to be better than most Silent Hill games for it to end up making people happy and scoring well. I believe that. I guess that's what I was trying to say to Nick, but he's gone. Stupid bitch. I think the expectations for a sign, it's kind of like how a fucking East game scores really well, right? Because the people who play Ease, normies are gonna look at an Ease game and say, "What is this PS3 shit?" Right? But like the people who like Ease, who play Ease games, are gonna play this and be like, "Man, this is a good Ease game," and it scores well. Because the only people who care about it, and in Silent Hill, there's not a lot of Silent Hill fans. There's not.
Hey, you want to ask Carlos if he's going to be on?
He's not gonna be on, dude.
He's in chat right now.
Then you've already asked him. Then what are you asking me for?
Because I don't know. I thought it'd be polite to ask.
Well, wait. Are we live? Are we muted?
No, we're not.
Then you just asked him. What do you think, Carlos? We are politely asking you to do something in front of a lot of people, which, let me tell you, is not polite. Someone at work asked me to check in on their cat in front of a bunch of coworkers. That's bad form, dude. You can't do that. You can't ask someone for a favor like that they super don't want to do in front of other people because you're pressuring them to have to say yes. You know what I mean? It's bad form. I'm not talking about you anymore, Chris Davis. I'm talking about this work situation. I'm not going to check in on this guy's cat, by the way, for many reasons. Yeah, it's like you don't ask that in front of other people. Come on, dude. You pull them aside. You send them a text. You're just trying to make them feel guilty in front of others. Stupid. Why did you? Carlos can hear you, right? Or maybe you think he can't hear you. I don't know. But he's talking about Silent Hill, so I'm sure he's listening. I don't know. I feel like Silent Hill is in a situation where it doesn't have to like be Resident Evil to be successful. That's what I've determined. Because it's so loved. If it was like a game that wasn't as loved, it doesn't have. It's kind of like Ayuden Chronicle, honestly. Ayuden Chronicle is so buggy, it runs like shit, the balance is all over the place. But like that game was still getting nines and shit because Suikoden
All right,
is
I'm back.
loved. I've changed my I've solidified my opinion, and here's what I think, Nick.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2 is still one of the most beloved games of all time, horror games of all time. Everyone
And
knows it.
games.
Everyone knows it's not perfect. Most Silent Hill games are barely passable games. They're like, they're not
And
good
people are
video
still
games.
expecting this remake to be perfect, or it's might as well not
No,
have been
that's
made.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if this game, s- people, people's expectations are in the toilet. The audience isn't huge. The people on the outside are already talking shit, but the people on the inside are talking shit as well, right? Because that's how Silent Hill fans are. It just has to surprise. It just has to be better than people were expecting, and they have to nail, of course, the story and the presentation of the story and the performances. If they do that with a little bit of surprise, like absolutely, I think people would be super happy about this. It just has to be better than most Silent Hill games, and I don't think that's hard. It has to be better than Homecoming. It has to be better than Downpour, Nick. Sorry, it has to be better than basically every Silent Hill game except for like 2 and 3 maybe, and 1 maybe. Like if it's as good as those, I don't think people are going to be as hard on this game for having janky combat, which it probably does, versus like a Resident Evil game having janky combat is what I mean. So
Nor
I
should
think
they.
I think in those situations, the vibes are gonna be good. People are gonna be happy, and if people
I
are
just hope
happy,
people are willing to give it
then
credit if credit is due. Because I'm worried some people have just already made up their mind that
well,
they're
see,
just
I don't think you should try to convince some like this is if you're trying to convince someone that it's good, then they've already didn't succeed enough.
oh
Like
I,
it has to be it's not about you being impressed. It has to surprise the average cynical person who's already down on it. And like that is possible, and that is the situation where and maybe a lot of critics are in that position as well. And that is the situation where this game ends up being making a lot of people happy, scoring well even, you know. Like I said, I don't see a a best case scenario really successful Silent Hill game in its own set of expectations that gets a 7. I don't. I think Silent Hill 2 was a 89 because um it was Silent Hill 1 with better graphics and a better story, right? Like it was not Resident Evil. And, but no one's expecting that for Silent Hill. I don't think that this is why this was the problem with Homecoming and stuff is and no one wanted better combat. No one wanted parries and dodges and stuff because that's not Silent Hill. Um yeah.
okay.
No,
No,
my
you're right.
outlook is not grim on this one. It really isn't.
Okay.
If these motherfuckers can parade Alone in the Dark around,
Are they? Are
like it,
people parading Alone in the Dark around?
dude, they're like, oh, this is all I wanted. I knew I was gonna score like this, but it doesn't matter. This is exactly what I wanted. It's fun, Like, there's no way people can be harder on Silent Hill than that shit. How was the combat in Alone in the Dark?
We talked about it.
It was
I didn't
embarrassing,
play
mean,
it.
right? It was like terrible, right?
it wasn't terrible. It was okay.
It was fucking terrible. Come on.
No, Brad. Stop using
If a
it.
Resident Evil game came out with that combat system, what would you call it?
I think they're comparable, personally.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Oh, you shut the fuck up, Brad.
You shut
You're
up.
not
You're
the one that
telling
played
me
that game.
You shut up.
Oh no. So I have to play Alone in the Dark now to disprove the fact that Alone in the Dark is not comparable to Resident Evil, modern Resident Evil. We are talking about modern Resident Evil. Right?
I didn't say that.
Can we get
You
back
said
on
it was
track here?
comparable. Wait, what did you say?
I said the combat was comparable.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, you
modern
were making
Resident
the
Evil
implication that Resident Evil, the Alone in the Dark remake, is comparable to the Resident Evil 2 remake as a whole.
What the fuck are you talking about? You're inventing sentences?
I don't know how to interpret what you just said. Let's get started with the
It's
show. It
certainly
is
not what you
10:07.
just did.
We gotta go.
Let's fucking go.
You gaslight me? How dare you?
Fuck off, Brad.
I'm recording. Are y'all recording?
This is on tape. People can roll this back.
Yeah,
It's-
whatever. Roll it back later. I'm
All right,
recording.
I'm recording.
Brad, are you recording? All right.
Mhm.
Roll call starts now. Brad
It's just me and Chris Davis.
and Chris Davis.
I'm also here, and I am recording.
Wonderful. All right, welcome back to the show. As I mentioned
Nick, I
earlier.
have a question for you.
Oh God. Yes.
In your opinion,
Yes.
is the combat in Alone in the Dark comparable to a modern Resident Evil combat?
Fuck off.
No,
Okay.
answer the fucking question.
I haven't played it. What do you want me to say?
Oh, I thought you played that game.
No.
Wait,
Only Chris Davis here has
you
played
didn't play
it.
Alone in the Dark,
No. The new one? The one that came out this year?
dude?
No. I haven't touched it yet. I'm going to.
Oh, weird. Why haven't you played that?
Because I haven't had time. Have you
apparently
seen
the
what kind of
combat's really
year it's
good.
been?
Fucking God.
Oh my
It was
God.
so
It's
much.
good. It's good in
Okay,
Resident Evil.
Can
right?
you,
hate
can
you
you
so
not
much.
can you not drive Chris Davis to drastic measures before I hand the reins over to
I'm
him
just,
to
I'm
lead
just
this
thinking
next
about Resident
segment?
Evil 4. You know, I don't know. Whatever. All right, go ahead.
Look. We're gonna, as I said at the beginning of the show, we kind of moved some stuff around. Nolan had to bow out. They're having a little bit of a weather emergency in his area right now, and of course, we hope they're doing well. But we're kind of waiting on an update from him. So hopefully, Nolan and Bernadette and the pups are doing good. So
Keep him in your thoughts.
I hope if his roof blows off, but they still feel like pretty comfortable that the worst of it's over, he still like pops in and says, "Hey guys, I have no
With a-
roof.
with a roof missing?
Crazy!" That would be like, that'd be kind of cool. It'd be sad.
I
but
mean,
it'd be cool.
yeah, that would be wild.
At least we know he's okay.
obviously, we hope nothing like that happens. But
Yeah.
anyways, our thoughts are with Nolan and Bernadette and the pups and everything as they hunker down during this weather emergency. For now, we're gonna press on, just the three of us. And like I said earlier,
before we get into it, can I throw out two pieces of news that broke this evening?
sure.
First
I was
of
about to
which,
hand the
if we
reins
say
over to
no.
you to do whatever you want with.
Yeah, well, I'll take ownership in a second, but I want to throw out two things. Number one,
Okay.
Octopath Traveler 2 has just been dropped on Game Pass.
Interesting.
Okay.
Too bad I
And
already
has
paid for
received
that.
a new update for it that adds quote unquote super bosses.
Weird.
Octopath
Weird.
1 is now on PS4 and PS5. The other thing, which I think is much more interesting, is that Night Dive is
man.
teasing
Ooh, no one
a
that's Trevor?
remaster of The Thing.
Yeah. Which is weird, right? So,
The Thing game. Do
I
people
don't think
like
that's
that?
weird at all. I think it's
so
awesome.
well,
Do you
so
like that game?
do
Chris
people love
Davis?
that game? I know people love The Thing, but
It
is that
reviewed
game,
pretty
like-
well. The game reviewed
had-
pretty well.
It had
I-
check the receipts on that one. It had
It was like
it
an
had the
8 out of
thing
10.
of like you didn't know like who was the thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and-
that
and it
has
was-
to be.
but it was like dynamic, and you were like giving it because it was not like a squad game, but you can like give him like guns and stuff. But you're like, oh, am I gonna give this guy a gun and he's just gonna blow my brains out? I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I'm
Like-
going to be
Like
honest.
it was a
with you right
direct
now.
sequel to the original film.
Look, that is one of the things that apparently is going to be revealed on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which again, we're about to do predictions for the Summer Game Fest presentation.
High 70s on Metacritic. Are you telling me the new Silent Hill remake of 2 can't score better than The Thing on PlayStation 2, Nick?
It's apples and oranges, my friend. Okay, real quick, I just want to say, in a post System Shock remake world, I only care about Night Dive if they're remaking the thing. I don't really care much about a remastered port of the thing.
But that's what Night Dive does. But they fix
They-
controls, they do
no.
quality of life stuff sometimes, you know?
I know. I mean, I've played all their Turok remasters. I'm just saying they're impressive remasters, but like the only thing that's going to get me genuinely excited at this point for a game like The Thing, which I think is a really cool property to play with in a video game, like bring that shit
Do you
back,
know
but
why?
like remake it.
Do you know why the
Modernize
shit
it. Make
stinks
it
a little bit, Nick? Do you know why
What?
the shit stinks a little bit?
why?
Because Doom was fucking good, and Doom clones were fucking good. Some of this other shit, doesn't quite hold up. You know, it's like you remaster that, it's still kind of a whatever game. You know what's fucking good? fucking no one lives forever. That's what they should be fucking remastering. God damn it, you know
I want to
those
see
old.
Night Dive. Here's the thing. I think the thing could be really cool, but like, I want a thing that resembles System Shock, and in terms of like production value and like
A
reinvention,
remake.
versus
Yeah, but they
a
were
turn
working
up
on it for
remaster. You know what I
years.
mean?
They were working
I
on it for
mean, maybe they've
years.
been working on it for years. They've been growing.
Hey,
You never
I'm
know.
I'm
Long
of the
time,
opinion
though.
that you let Night Dive work on whatever the fuck they want. They do a good
Believe me.
job all across the board.
I mean,
The
they
thing
do.
is, the
They
thing
do.
is not. The thing is, like, these remasters are like super good. I mean, they're not super good in quality. It's super good that they're happening because
No, yeah,
old
yeah, of
PC
course.
games are not the easiest things to get running well and perfectly, and like it's wonderful when it happens. Now the thing is, they're kind of putting out like small ones here and there that aren't like really, wasn't like PO'd or something just came out or some
Yep,
shit. Like
that
no
came
one
out of
wanted
nowhere.
that. No one cares about that, and that's fine. I I'm okay with this just being a remaster, but I do want them to pick projects that are a little bit higher profile than The Thing or PO'd, because like there are still lost PC games that like people just love so much that people want definitive versions of.
Absolutely.
Give me Blood Omen and Soul Reaver, like awesome running modern versions of those, because that's a beloved franchise that we'll never see again.
which is
And
why I think something like The Thing would be more interesting as a remake. Like System Shock has been done now for like, has it been? I mean, it came out last year, but I feel like it's been done for almost 2 years, because I think it came out pretty early
how did
last
that
year.
even do though? Is that even like, did that even make money for them?
I mean, it was kickstarted.
Okay,
I mean,
but I
yeah,
mean
but
that
that only pays you
It was
so
a very
much.
successful. It
that
was a
that
very successful Kickstarter, and
that well, that amount of money does not take you that far in terms of like running a whole company like for a long period of time
I mean, here
afterwards.
the thing is, their remasters I think do so well for them. It can fund these like, it can help fund these dream projects. You know what I mean?
Maybe it did okay.
But listen,
A story put out last year around the launch says, "quote exceeded expectations with strong revenue."
So you know what? You know what I think it is here. I think because we see the word expectations thrown around a lot, and I think some companies have um, realistic expectations, and others don't.
Okay, well,
You know
they're
what I mean?
also
Like,
very different kinds of companies, I'm
well,
sure.
sure. I mean,
I mean,
yes,
it looks like,
exactly.
according to SteamDB, estimated like 250,000 copies, which is probably a lot better than their typical remasters. But I mean, this was in development for a long time, so that means expensive. But I don't know how
But
many
again,
people were
also a
working on it.
certain chunk of that development cost was covered by Kickstarter. But
True.
anyways, we're
Yeah.
getting into the weeds here. I don't want to get into the weeds. Uh, Before I hand it over, Chris, I just want to say so Chris Davis is going to lead us through predictions for Summer Game Fest, which is just going to cover the presentation on Friday, Jeff Keighley's thing, and then Xbox, Ubisoft Forward, into indie showcases, all that stuff. And we're going to do it kind of like we did last year. I'll let Chris Davis explain that in a second. I just want to say that we also reached out to people in Discord to kind of pull predictions and shit in. So I think Chris Davis factored some of these in. I don't know if you're
Mhm.
going to be
Well, hopefully, you
mentioning
got
people by
my
name.
one on there. At least I had one. Hey, is this framed in such a way that people who are not currently here tonight can still participate in this after the fact, like a spreadsheet or
Yes.
whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a Google spreadsheet. I'll share it with you after I'm done. Yeah, I've got a
Just
whole
for
bunch.
funsies.
You're gonna track our answers that we give you now.
Yes,
Okay.
All right,
I've
so
got
this
it
is going to
open
be
right in front of me.
interesting. This is going to be interesting.
Okay.
So Chris
Maybe
Davis.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right. So here's how we're doing this. This is a collection
Have you already
of
weeded out things that we now know are going to be there?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is current as of this afternoon. Most of this was written on Monday. About, I would say a good third of it is community suggestions. And I've split it into two halves, basically. The first half is Summer Games Fest / general announcements. Because what my thinking is that we've got over a dozen announced showcases and events coming over the next 10 days. It's going to be crowded.
Right.
Any of these games, they could show up at any of these conferences. And there's also others that are not announced yet, like a Capcom event or a Square Enix event, things like that. So they could show up elsewhere. So that's why I decided to put them into a general category with SGF.
Okay.
The other half of the list is split between 3 events: the Xbox Showcase on Sunday, the Ubisoft Forward event that follows that, and the Nintendo Direct / Treehouse, which we're most certainly going to get.
Which has not been announced yet, so
Not been announced. That's the only thing that's not
may
announced. But
happen.
I
think we
feel
know they're
like
doing
it's got to
something in
happen.
June,
They always do it. So
And real quick, just before, because we're going to start with the Summer Game Fest presentation, right? And I just want to say, this is not. I'm just trying to make sure, because we do this all the time, right? We've been covering these events for a very long time, even
Yeah.
back in the day when we go to E3 and stuff. Like, it's really easy, and it's fine to get excited and get hyped, right? But like, you got to temper expectations a little bit. And somebody asked Jeff Keighley to his face, well, not to his face, but like he was doing a Q&A thing, right? They were like, Jeff, out of 1 out of 10, how would you rate this year's Summer Game Fest? And he said 8.
yeah,
So
and
take
I
that
think that
however
comes
you
from
will.
I think that comes from the perspective of him talking about his event.
Right.
Like,
And
at the
how
end of the
he
day,
feels
Jeff
about it.
Keighley is a salesman. He's not like a regal figure in the industry.
He's
Like,
also
he doesn't have that much influence.
he also does like to try and set, because I'm sure he's seen backlash in the years past, so he tries to set people's expectations accordingly.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this primarily so that we can all be on an even playing field in terms of like how we're going to predict. But he also specified that at the Summer Game Fest there is not going to be a one more thing. You know what I mean? Like the big like, oh, almost forgot, and then here's boom, this huge game that nobody saw coming.
This
Right?
is weeds. We are drowning in weeds. I want to get to this damn
I'm
list.
setting the expectations accordingly. Use that information however you will. Chris Davis, take it away.
Okay,
Remember, I
all
want to
right.
keep this moving, so we can't spend a ton of time talking about every single fucking thing.
Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to ask y'all yes or no questions. You just give me a yes or a no. I will tally those up after we're done with announcement season, and I will reveal the shows on a later show. Also, if we have time tonight, I've got a bonus round of open-ended questions for y'all, but we can worry about
And
that
of course, there will be we will have little bits of banter here. We're not just going to go yes, yes, and
absolutely,
then move on.
yeah,
Right? We're gonna
definitely.
Okay.
Speak for yourself.
later. All right.
All right. Let's
And
get started.
So I'm getting the big painful one for Nick out of the way. First question
For me,
for all of us. Well, for you specifically.
I
'cause this
think
hurts
I
you.
know what this. I think
Yeah.
I know what this is.
Will we see Borderlands 4?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Nick.
I am of the assumption that this game that I want more than anything to be BioShock 4 is going to be Borderlands 4.
You gotta say your
And-
answer too, Chris Davis.
I say yes. I think that's the
I
big
say
take
no.
two thing that we're going to see.
I am preparing myself to be wildly disappointed when I see Borderlands on screen. I hope I'm
It's
surprised.
been leaked.
Well, no,
Okay.
no.
Papa Shot, send me a DM. I need a cheat sheet. Send me a DM in Discord.
Wow.
Borderlands
Cheater.
the
Send me a
movie
link,
Cheater.
or drop
game.
it. I want
No,
to
no,
see
no,
this.
no,
link.
Cheater. Okay.
no cheating, no cheating, no
Okay.
cheating.
Or post
Next
a link.
game.
Post a link.
Will we see BioShock 4?
Yes.
As much as I want that the answer to that question to be yes, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes. I think it's time for Cloud Chamber to finally show off what they're working on.
I 100%
Shot.
agree that it is time, but I think if BioShock 4 was going to be there, I think Jeff Keighley would maybe be a little more confident in the lineup, what he's
All
going to
right.
be showing.
I changed my Borderlands answer to yes.
God damn
Okay.
it.
I will accept this, but I'm locking it down. From now on, ignore chat. You're making guesses on what
Okay, but
information
all
we
the
have
people who
right
answer
now.
after the fact. Okay, whatever.
Well, that was a
They'll
cheating.
have more information.
whatever.
They'll have more information. I feel like they need to answer these questions right away.
Brad, you
Okay.
are forbidden from. You know what? Maybe we should just close chat while we're doing
You're
this.
not
I don't know.
fucking listening to me. I'm saying, what if fucking Carlos rolls up? He gets to look at this fucking tweet and get the right answer. Why can't I? It's not fair.
Then
We
maybe
have to answer this shit live and get our shit locked down. They get to answer this
Yes.
shit like tomorrow and more shit leaks. Come on.
I want to do more predictions. Let's keep going. We'll worry
Okay.
about this later. It doesn't matter anyways.
The darling game of last year, do we see an announcement of a sequel to Dave the Diver?
No.
No.
Next.
No.
No? Okay. Well, I'm good.
You think that's a game we're even going to get a sequel to?
I think
soon,
it
too
made
soon.
so much money and got so much
True,
praise
too soon.
critically that I
True,
don't see how
too soon.
Nexon wouldn't want to actually announce that immediately.
Yeah, I do
True,
think
too
it's too
soon.
soon.
They're still doing
Too soon.
DLC and stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
And aren't they working on another game that looks nothing like Dave the Diver at the moment?
I wouldn't put it past them just immediately cancel that and work on Dave the Diver too. Okay, next. Will we see gameplay of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater?
Ooh, so PlayStation is one of the
No.
participating companies, and again, I think this comes back to like if he had Metal Gear Solid Delta, I feel like he would be more confident in in the lineup. But he's not. He's giving his own presentation an 8. Nah, I'm gonna go no.
Okay. I mean, it's
I'm gonna go
Keeley.
no.
Like, you know how he is. I'm going to
Here's the
say,
thing,
again,
Jeff
this is...
Keighley. Jeff Keighley is not one. He doesn't usually do like bait and switches. I don't think he's sitting here trying to be like, oh yeah, it's like an 8, but
Okay.
it's really like a 10. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's doing that. I think he's being sincere.
Perhaps I should do a clarifier thing here real quick. Again, this is Summer Games Fest and general announcements, meaning that it would just have to
Right.
be announced during announcement season.
Right.
What is
But
So
that,
it could show up at
anytime in
Xbox. It
June?
could show up at PlayStation events, things like that.
I
When is
don't
that
think
supposed to come out?
I don't think BioShock 4 is going to show up at Xbox, and I don't think it's going to show up anywhere else. And the only other place it would make sense is the Summer Game Fest thing. So no, I don't think BioShock's going to be there. I don't think Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to show up anywhere else other than
Yeah.
than Summer
I'd like
Game
to
Fest.
change my Bioshock answer to no, but that's the last change.
Okay,
As
I'll
far
change
as Metal Gear, I'm saying no.
Okay, well, I'm saying yes. I'm feeling positive right now.
Chris Davis is just like shooting for the moon, setting himself up for so
Gotta
much
shoot
disappointment.
for the... You gotta have some hope in your heart, Brad.
Hey, look,
Nick,
don't get me
you
wrong.
gotta have some hope.
I'm always excited.
I
for
have
this
no
time of
hope
year.
in that project. I think it's gonna be whack.
I
Okay,
hope
well,
I
alright.
have so much. I love this time of year. You know me. I used to. My favorite part of going to E3 used to be going to the press conferences. Like I love this time of year, but I'm also trying to be realistic here. So I'm going with no. I hope I'm wrong. Every time I say no, I hope I'm wrong.
Okay,
But
all
You
right.
think Tango GameWorks is hyped for this E3? Key3?
No, I don't.
Let's not go there. All right, next one. We got a lot to get through. Will we get a release date for Hollow Knight Silksong?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I think so.
I will also say yes. It's time. I think it will be at the
But-
Xbox event.
I think it'll be Xbox event, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
oh,
Because
yeah.
the last time it showed up was an Xbox event. I think it'll be there.
Next
All right. Will we see Persona 6?
Maybe like a tease. I'd say a tease.
Tease? That would be yes.
No. I think not till after Metaphor ships. So I'm gonna say
Okay.
no.
Nick?
I'm gonna go no.
Okay,
I'm gonna go no.
that's my first no. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay.
No. Even though
It
I
is
don't know if
green.
you
We
saw
know
it.
it's green.
Yeah, we know. I was about to say I don't know if y'all saw it. We know it's green.
Yeah. Oh boy, just grasping at air. Okay. This is a subjective question. Will Dragon Age Dreadwolf look cool to Brad?
No.
To Brad.
To Brad?
No.
No.
No, I'm gonna go no. I'm gonna go no.
In that
But
case, I'm
also
gonna go
maybe-
yes, because if I say yes, well, I'll be honest. You know what the latest I heard is that this new Dragon Age is more like God of War, like most recent God of War, than any Dragon Age game we've.
See, I was
Far from
specifically
right.
thinking about that leaked footage, and I was like, I don't think that looked very good. I don't think Brad thought it looked very good. But that was also like
Well, that
all
one-
of like 10 seconds long, so who the fuck knows? Like a
Wait,
lot of
wait,
the concept art I think that we've seen so far looks really fucking cool.
I have to be impressed by the showing of Dragon Age, is what you're saying.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I think
I
we
mean,
will
they
see
could do
that.
good character work, and I could be like impressed, like. I leaks say a female Kunari. That's exciting. I'm gonna say I'm not impressed. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not impressed.
'Cause I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's all but been confirmed that is going to be shown somewhere, probably at Xbox
Maybe.
Or SG.
or SGF.
I hope it's
I
just
mean-
a cinematic trailer.
I
Let
mean,
me
it
tell
also
ya,
could be at
I
an
won't be
event
impressed.
with EA. Like supposedly it's going to be coming out this fall.
No, I'm pretty
There's
sure.
still some rumors that it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I don't think
I mean-
EA is doing anything this year.
Someone could do this like a $1 bid, because what there's no way we get to the end of the year and don't know when Dragon Age is coming.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not going to say anything about Dragon Age before the end.
Okay. All right. Let's go. All right. Will we see the next game from Shinji Mikami?
No,
No.
Lord, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Do we even know he's working on it? I don't remember
His
the last-
Started a new studio.
his non-compete clause ended middle of last year. He has quietly started up a new studio. There have been rumors
Quietly.
about what he's working on.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. That's
Well,
way
man,
too
you already
soon.
have so much information. Maybe you should be answering first, Chris Davis.
Well, I'm going to say yes on this because I think back. I feel like Mikami has like that a step down, but that Hideo Kojima energy in which he could probably put up like a rapid like prototype trailer, and just we see it in like we actually play it in 5 years, but he could announce it now.
So, can I use this as an opportunity to slip something in here that we know is going to be there that I think fits here?
Okay.
So this won't be part of the predictions. This was confirmed today, but this is actually maybe the thing I'm the most excited about now that we know it's there. We're going to get our first look at Slitterhead
Yes.
on Friday, which is the game from the original creator of the original Silent Hill.
Uh-huh.
And we saw that game in a very weird trailer that showed it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
And now we're fine. So to your point, could Shinji Mikami pull a Slitterhead and do a trailer that makes no sense right now?
My
and
answer
then-
is still no. I think we should move on.
Okay. I think my answer is no as well. I'm just saying we are seeing Slitterhead, which is exciting. I'm really excited to see more of that. But I'm just saying Shinji Mikami could technically do the same thing here, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. I give it a yes. Y'all give it a no. All right. Will we see the next game from Playdead?
No. No.
No. Well,
No.
wait a second. Is Playdead is they're usually multi-platform, right? They're not associated with one or the other.
We're talking
PC.
about the developers of Limbo and Inside.
Yeah. So they could be at Xbox. I
They
feel
could,
like
yeah.
here's the thing. I've said this before. I think Xbox, especially given the temperature of the industry right now and like the bad will that they've garnered over the past few months, I think they need to go hard and strong on this showcase. So having something like Playdead would be pretty big.
Yeah. I'm going to say
So I'm gonna
yes.
say
I'm going to
you
be
cha-
optimistic about this.
I'm gonna say yes at Xbox.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
changing my answer on one, and I know I wasn't going to do this,
You
but this is the Brad one.
motherfucker.
So I feel like I'm allowed to change Dragon Age to yes. I
Okay,
will be
you are not googling weird shit that we haven't seen yet, are you?
No, I'm no, not at all. I promise you.
Uh-huh.
I promise you. I mean, I got some SteamWorld heist footage rolling in the background. 13-minute extended
Okay,
gameplay,
okay.
but there's nothing to do with that. I'm gonna change it to yes because I think that there is no world where BioWare shows their face again in public, where if what
Without
they have
something
to
that looks
show
rad.
doesn't look kind of impressive, then they're done.
They're dead.
They would have canceled that project. There's no fucking
Okay.
way. It has
All
to
right.
be somewhat cool looking.
All right. The next several games I like to call the mini block. It's a Capcom focus stuff. First game. Will we see Pragmata?
No.
No. Well, PlayStation is gonna be at Summer Game
I'm gonna-
Fest, but they're also bringing Astrobot. We already know they're bringing. They've got to
Is
have
Pragmata
Astrobot.
PlayStation only?
I think so. Yeah, isn't it?
I
Maybe
don't
I'm
think
wrong.
so.
Oh, maybe
I
I'm
don't think
wrong.
so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we do see Pragmata somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go with yes.
I'm going.
That could be
yes
at like
as
one
well.
of the that could be at like the future game showcase or PC gaming showcase or something.
Maybe.
Okay.
I
Or an
think it's bigger
Xbox.
than
Or an
that.
Xbox.
I mean, they
All right,
Microsoft
I'm gonna-
has the money. They could buy it.
I'm going yes.
They could
Okay.
they could buy it. You think they're buying this
They
Japanese
better not
game?
be.
They hate.
They better not be
Japanese.
buying any fucking studios right now.
Oh, well, they just did, but that's another topic. Will we get a new project announcement for a Resident Evil game?
No.
A full blown Resident Evil game. Would those remaster? No. Full
Stop
blown.
calling them remasters. They're not remasters.
They are.
They're remakes. What are you talking about?
The Code Veronica rumors, right?
That's a
Those aren't-
remake. What are you talking
Yeah, it's
about? They're
supposed to be
talking
a
about a remake.
but not like full blown, right?
Yes, full blown. Why in the world would you think it's not a full blown remake? I don't understand.
The Code Veronica stuff. Latest information was that maybe that shit was completely blown out of proportion, right?
No, what do you? What
right,
world where they
I'm-
remade Resident Evil 2, 3, 4?
We'll talk about it
Do you think
later.
they wouldn't
There's more
remake
info
Code
out there.
Veronica?
My answer is no.
My answer is also no. I don't think we're
Okay.
going to see anything Resident Evil related for a while.
Okay, 3 no's. All right. Where we see a remake of Dino Crisis.
No, stop. What are you talking
Okay.
about? No. Did somebody in Discord bring that up? Did somebody do
Hey,
that
it was
just to
the
hurt
most
me?
heavily it was one of the most heavily touted things from the Capcom community survey.
God damn it, that is never happening.
Okay,
Never
somebody clip that
happened.
out. Clip that out.
Never
And we'll
happening.
use that from 5 years from now.
Fucking hot dog bet right now, not happening. You know, I was listening to Kind of Funny this week, and they do pizza bets, man. We've been doing it all wrong.
Well, we never even
Pizza
followed through on our
bets.
fucking hot dog bets. So
Well, yeah, because who wants to follow through on a hot dog? But
I like hot
pizzas, man?
dogs.
We'd be holding everybody accountable on pizza bets. Shit.
All right.
Anyways,
Okay.
yeah.
Here's an interesting question. Will we see a Mega Man game?
No.
No.
So here's the thing, is that Capcom has been sending out postcard invitations to the press ahead of the Summer Games Fest event. The
So you have
last time
insider
they did
information.
that, was for the 30th anniversary of Mega Man.
Okay, so are you saying these postcards have Mega Man teasers on them or something?
Well, the one from the 30th anniversary did. This one, it's a little less. It's not clear, but I don't know. I think it's time we see a Mega Man game.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Brad?
Nope.
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 Okay. All right. Second to last Capcom game. Will we see a new IP from Capcom?
No.
A new IP from Capcom? No.
Nope.
Okay. All right. I think we've seen
I
all
don't
the new IPs that Capcom has right now. I think it's gonna be a
They've
while
got
before we see
they've got a
something.
lot on their plate right now. I don't think we're gonna. I mean,
Yeah.
they've also already announced what's it called, the thing we all thought was Onimusha
Kid
for
Nitsugami.
a hot. Yeah, that's the new IP. They've
Between Kinitsugami and Pragmata, yeah, I
Pragmata.
think that's their.
they've checked their new IP boxes for a while, so I think we're good.
Okay. All right, and this is very much a rumor, this last one. Will we see a remake of the original Dead Rising?
I hope not.
100% yes. No, just kidding. No.
No, that's a hot.
No.
That's a no.
No. Well, we'd sooner
No.
see Dead Rising 6 or whatever the fuck they're on.
Well, it would have been
That would-
5, but that got
I feel like that
canceled.
would just be wasted effort. That's just
Okay. I don't think it's wasted effort. I think there is a strong community for that, even however niche it is. I think we're eventually going to get it.
okay. Well, we're talking about this Summer Game Fest season. I'm going to say no.
Okay. All right. And 3 no's. That's okay. All right. Next, will we see Yoko Taro's next game?
Ooh, hasn't he been tweeting about stuff lately? Like he's been dropping hints and shit. Maybe that he's working on a new Nier game.
Making some Nier hints. He's been making some praise for Stella Blade.
That's 2 conversations. What's your answer, Chris Davis?
I want to say yes.
You want to say? I mean, we all want to say
Is
yes.
your answer yes?
My answer is yes.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say yes again. And I think it's gonna be at the Xbox thing.
Okay.
Again, I think Xbox gonna go hard.
My answer is no.
Okay. Put
Your
away your
yes is
phone,
in or
Brad.
no?
All right. Another Brad question. Will we finally see something related to Final Fantasy Tactics?
No. God, I wish I could say yes more. I've
In
been saying
June?
no to everything.
In June?
Where would that even show up? You think?
I mean, it could be at Summer Games Fest. It could be at a Square Enix event. I mean, it could be anywhere.
I feel like I have to say yes on this one.
Do we
Okay.
think Square Enix is going
Like,
to
I
do an
literally
event?
just
Have they said anything about an
bought
event?
some Final
They
Fantasy
have not
Tactics
yet.
stuff. Square Enix?
Yeah, I
They
They do
have
not have
no
anything
event.
scheduled yet.
I feel like they would have announced an event and they just canceled projects, posted all these losses.
And Persuade and Chat makes a good point. Like they're focused on restructuring right now, I think. So I
Okay,
don't.
but that
yeah,
doesn't mean they don't have a trailer ready to go for a fucking event.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
I don't
even
know.
if
I'm
it's
saying
true
yes
that
just
Ogre
'cause-
Battle was the actual game from the Nvidia leak, like still,
Tactics Ogre, and there's
like
mul- I
what's
mean,
his
that's
name?
not necessarily
Matsuno
true,
was
actually.
talking about that it was time
Matsuno
for.
does not work for Square Enix. He says, "Ask Square Enix."
I
okay.
am going to stick with. I'm going to stick with my gut instinct, which is no.
I'm going to be
That's not a
hopeful and
gut
say
instinct.
yes. Okay.
Yes, it
I know.
is.
I feel like I'm being the. I feel like I'm being the huge Debbie Downer here because I feel like I've been like 80% no.
Well, do you want to win? Although we don't have prize tied to this, it can't be too
There's no
significant.
prize.
There-
This
still
is
wa-
all for
I
fun.
still
We're
wa-
all friends here.
I still want to win,
Okay.
but I'm
all right.
I'm giving my honest thoughts.
All right. Will we see the remake of Final Fantasy IX?
No,
No.
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 God, I wish, but no.
I want to say
At this
yes.
point, I'm not. At this point, I don't even think it. I don't even think it exists anymore. If it may have existed at one point, but I don't think it exists anymore.
I
hope I'm
think I
wrong.
remember
I hope
reading
I'm
something
wrong.
that like it originally was outsourced to a third party and they brought it in house.
Which is
So I
more
think
of a
it
reason
does
to say
exist.
no.
I wanna
It's,
say yes.
it's not. It's not soon.
Okay. All right. Easy question here. Will we see Hazelight's next game?
Yes. Yeah.
Hazelight being
It takes
A
two.
Way Out. It Takes Two. Joseph Ferris.
Summer Game
What was their
Fest.
last game? Their last game was It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there will be a tease for it. Yeah.
Okay.
At
that
Summer Game
counts.
Fest because that's a thing.
Or no, it
That's-
could be the Game Awards. I'll still say no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
Wow. Okay. Feels like that's.
Well,
an
is
easy
there
choice.
is there what is your answer, Chris Davis?
My answer is yes. I think that this is the time
Okay, I'll
for them
say
to
yes.
show new. Okay. Okay. All right.
Are you serious? Is that your final answer,
Yeah,
Brad?
yes. My final
Okay,
answer
we're all
is
yeses on that.
Okay. Will we see the next Tomb Raider game?
No, fucking.
What do you mean?
Wait, well, you know,
It's been
Xbox
in
could
development
go
for a while.
It
They
could be
revealed
at
that
Xbox.
character art a couple months ago.
Could be. They also said that character art has nothing to do with the next.
Well,
Tomb
when
Raider
you
game.
say are we going to see that, you mean even if they have a short little cinematic teaser, that still counts?
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. That counts.
I'm going to say my answer is no.
You're a no.
But yeah,
Okay.
he asked the qualifying question and then just still said no. You know, just to be clear too, that little Lara Croft redesign thing that they put out, they were very clear when they put it out that has nothing to do with their Tomb Raider project that's currently in development.
Okay.
Just saying.
So you're a no.
I'm a no. But no.
Okay.
But again, Xbox really needs to win people over, so I could see them.
They do.
You know, what? I'm gonna go yes. And
Okay.
it's gonna be
All
Xbox.
right.
It's gonna
Okay.
be Xbox.
All right. Here's a good question. Will we see IO Interactive's James Bond game?
No.
Really?
No.
No.
Maybe
Wow.
a tease, right?
But
I
tease would still
think
count,
we see
but no.
something. Even if
My
it's a
answer's no.
cinematic thing, like it's been 4 years since Hitman 3. Like, and that's when they
That
announced
can't be
this.
true.
So like I feel
It has
like
not been
it's
4 years.
it's time.
Hitman 3
2020?
came out in 2020?
Yeah.
No. No, it didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did actually.
You're actually lying to me.
Okay. All right. Another subjective question here. Will Nick
2021 liars.
what win in 2021? Sorry.
I think it was January.
What does that have to do with anything? You were the wrong
I think
year,
it was.
buddy.
I think it was January, or maybe it was.
Okay,
maybe it
fine.
was December.
Whatever. 3 years. Like they could be 2 years out. They could reveal a trailer.
Closer to 3 years than 4. Just saying.
Whatever. Anyway, next question. Will Nick lose his shit over an indie horror game?
January
Yes, of
20th,
course. Jesus
2021.
Christ.
Wait,
Of course he will.
wait. That. Yeah, of course. Fuck yeah.
Okay.
If there's
all right.
any indie horror games present, if they show Luto again, I'll lose my mind.
Okay.
I'm very
all right.
excited for
That
Luto.
one sucks. I think the
Oh,
one
fuck off.
that
Luto
can
looks great.
no, it doesn't. I think the one that looks good is the Chinese room one, right? Like if they show that, when does that come out?
Wait, the Chinese room one. Oh,
Still
Still
Wakes the
Wakes the
Deep?
Deep.
that's
That's
this
pretty
month.
soon.
That's
Yeah, then that
literally
means
this
it'll
month.
definitely be at one of these fucking PC gaming indie
Yeah, yeah.
showcases.
Sure,
That's
I'm already excited about that. But I think
Okay.
Luto's. Yeah, I'm hyped for Luto. That's where.
Okay.
That's
3
my
yeses
focus.
across the board. All right. 3 more for Summer Games Fest / general announcements. Will we see a release date for Delta Rune?
I don't even know what that is. Oh, I was like, okay. I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer this question. So I'm gonna say
Well, the
no.
answer is 1000% no.
Okay.
Okay.
Chapter
Are you waiting
2
for
came
me?
out 2 years ago, right?
Okay. So drafted, sucker.
Yeah, drafted, bitch. I'm just kidding. If you're so confident.
Okay, so that's a no from you, Nick?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
I need to
coming
play
from actually
Undertale.
knowing-
I'll get to
That's
that
coming
eventually.
from me having zero qualifications to even comment on.
That's coming
that
from me
game.
knowing the answer.
Okay. All right. Second to last for the SGF. Will we see a new Castlevania game?
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
He's got to have
That's
hope in his
crazy.
heart, man. I'm telling you.
You're crazy. You're crazy, but I like it. Okay. I'm gonna go no though.
I
'Cause
think
I'm
Konami is
sane.
willing to wheel and deal and to get any kind of Castlevania stuff in there. All right.
Wait, what's
last
your answer?
one.
You're not saying your answers, Chris Davis.
I said yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I think they'll do it. Finally, will we finally see Blue Point's next game?
No.
No. It would have been at the state of play.
I want everybody to acknowledge here that if Chris Davis was right across the board and everything that he said was accurate, this would not be an 8 out of 10. Not even close.
I mean, who knows what Blue Point's working on, man?
Nobody does. But
Nobody
I don't think
knows.
we're
I mean,
gonna see
the
it.
rumors are wild out there as to what it could possibly be.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think that's.
I mean,
I think
I think
maybe
I
Game
think
Awards.
best money in the world would be on a Bloodborne remake.
I don't know about that.
mean,
I
that
think
would be the
that
one.
this is a
If-
no. I think Summer Games Fest. I think the Game Awards is the next best opportunity.
I think it's a
Are
combination
they
here.
supposed to be
I think
working on like their own original game or some shit?
that was a rumor. I think
think it was
Brad
a
is
rumor.
correct. I think Brad is correct that their next remake is going to be Bloodborne, and I think
Yeah, that would
if
actually be stupid.
if it was
it's
to
not.
show up somewhere this year, I think it would be at the Game Awards because that's the only explanation for why they haven't released a remaster of Bloodborne on current hardware. Someone's remaking it. They're like, just wait for the remake.
All right. Next, we're going to the Xbox Showcase. We are done with Summer Games Fest / general announcements. And each of these following streams, much shorter lists, 10 to 12. So, Xbox, first question. Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah, I think they've already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we already know.
Let me finish. Doom the Dark Ages, will it be melee focused?
What
Is
does
that really a
mean?
thing people think?
We're talking about a medieval Doom game.
It's too vague. It's too vague.
Is that a thing people want?
It's
a
too vague. Melee
Doom
focus.
game?
What does that mean? We
Like-
might not even be able to like draw a definitive conclusion based on what they would.
I'm
show.
talking about like swords and warhammers and the kind of content that they started experimenting with in internal.
You're saying
and
will there be a
finished
melee
with
weapon
in-
used a lot in a trailer? The answer is yes.
I'm talking
like-
about the combat loop.
But to Brad's point is they may not show a gun in the trailer, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's no guns in the game.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
I think they will show something ranged in the trailer.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
absolutely.
I think they would also show something melee in the trailer. The answer to that would be yes, of course. Do y'all really think we're gonna see that? Like,
I think they've pretty much confirmed it at this point, haven't they?
no,
They-
no.
it's
nothing's
basically been
confirmed.
it's all but confirmed to be there.
No. The project existing in this form has been confirmed, but I have not seen any talk that we're gonna be seeing it.
I could have
This
sworn I
weekend.
saw something about them showing it at Xbox's thing, but
Show me that leak.
I don't know. Look, if you want to ask it to move things along, I'm gonna go with yes because that's where my heart already is. Is that we're gonna
Okay.
see it and it's gonna be. I'm not willing to say it's gonna be all melee weapons, but it's gonna be a trailer with a lot of
Is
melee
this a
weapons
double
in it.
point question, or if my answer is no, do I get points if it's not there or if it's not melee focused?
If it's not
both.
there, then you get a point. If it's melee focused, you do not get a point.
Just
Okay.
For the love of Christ.
I'm gonna go with no because I think that's the safer bet. Because if it's
Okay.
not there or if it's not melee focused or whatever, that means then I get the point.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Then-
for you to get to the point, yes, you have to get 2 parts, right?
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. But I think it's going to be there. So, okay.
Then I'm gonna go no because that's slam poker here. All right.
Okay.
That's
All right.
poker.
All right.
And I'm
Will we see Gear 6?
No.
No. God, I
Really?
hope not.
I think that's a solid yes.
Okay, well,
Like for all my Xbox stuff, in my
I mean,
opinion,
there's rumors.
I'm coming from the perspective of this is a year for the brand to do damage control, so they have to show off nothing but hot shit.
I just
matter-
feel like Gears has Gears even been hot shit in like a long time? I mean, I don't
No.
know. Maybe
6
I'm
was
wrong.
really
no.
well received, man.
I mean, I played.
I'm sorry, Gears what?
I played Gears 5, and it was
Gears
fine.
5
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gears 5.
was well received. Look,
Yeah.
no one's truly cared about Gears since 3, dude. Let's be real.
Well, you need to play Gears Tactics, by the way, Brad. That game's pretty good.
I didn't say any of those games were bad. I just said Gears has not been on top since 3.
Okay, moving on. Next question: do we see the next Halo?
No.
I don't. Yeah, that whole franchise is in
I don't
such a
think you
disarray
see
right
anything
now.
Halo related.
I think Halo is gonna be dormant for a while.
Yeah,
I think
and
they're
I'm not
gonna-
trying to be a Debbie Downer, but most of my reasoning here is just that these things are bad and disappointing. These showcases, and we're not going to get the stuff we want, except
Okay.
Castlevania and Final Fantasy Tactics
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
and Dreadwolf. And Dreadwolf's going to
Of fucking course. I'm
I
trying to be
think
practical about this shit.
I think we're gonna see like a very quick tease of a Halo project. I don't know necessarily whether it's
But is that the question?
Halo 7. Yeah, the next Halo game.
All right, that's your
The
answer.
answer is no.
I'm saying
Next.
yes. Okay. Next. Okay. Will we see Microsoft announce an Xbox branded handheld?
No.
God, there are.
There have been
huh?
rumors, man.
No.
Yeah,
No?
I don't think. Here's the thing. Again, they're doing so much damage control right now. I don't think they could ask people to purchase their hardware right now.
I hate to break it to you, Nick, but they're not doing damage control. They're done. They're just too big of a corporation to worry about Tango anymore. They're moving on. So like, I think it's no, but it's not for the reasons you think.
Okay,
They
fine.
so
That's
I'm going to say yes because their strategy that they've been talking about for the past year is to quote unquote meet gamers where they are
oh my
in
god.
bringing their content to stuff. That means to me like they want to go to every market possible where they can put their games, and the Steam Deck and that handheld market is really hot right now.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but your cat was just twitching.
Oh,
I think
Like,
he was
like
he does
hardcore.
that when he's really zonked out and dreaming. He does that.
Okay.
I think you're gonna see maybe like some other companies handheld that Microsoft says, hey, we're Game Pass is gonna be on this bitch. Something like that. Maybe
they could
but
do that, yeah.
Xbox. You're saying like an X boy, like they're gonna be like, check out
Yes.
the fucking X boy. No,
A Microsoft branded Steam Deck, basically. Yeah,
they're not a hardware company. Come on.
I think they could.
I think they're in a rush to get out of the hardware business at this point. All right, let's move on.
Maybe.
Next.
Okay.
Next.
This is rumored.
Got to pick up
Will
the pace
there-
here. We're coming up on an hour.
I know. Will there be a shadow dropped game?
Of course.
Yeah,
100%.
there's almost
Like at
always
any of these
something.
things, of course.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm just saying.
You got to say like, are there going to be 8 Shadow Drop games? I mean,
Or are they
of
going
course,
to shadow drop Silk Song or something like that?
of course, maybe or maybe like specifically to
But we don't have
just the
time to
SGF.
change this right now.
No, just to the Keeley. Like specifically, do you think the Keeley SGF showcase is going to shadow drop something? You got to narrow it down. Otherwise, the answer is of course.
I'm
yes.
talking about the Xbox showcase. All these questions are for Xbox.
Oh, this is Xbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with yes,
I'm saying yes as well, and that ties into
and
one of
hopefully
the
it's
latest
Silk
things. too.
Song, baby.
Yeah. Okay. All
It's
right.
not so-
I know.
Will Xbox acknowledge and address their studio shutdowns?
I think the
Not
bigger
by
question is
name.
Jeff Keighley
Not by
going to
name.
acknowledge the shutdown.
Oh, I don't know if he has the balls on him.
Exactly.
He'll do some generic statement, and I think Xbox will as well. But I
Okay.
mean, they're not going to say anything specific.
Okay. Nick?
It's
I'm
going to
gonna
be
go-
very generic and broad and vague, but like they're going to reference. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay. I think they're going to do something. It's going to be very light, and it's going to be toothless.
They're going to try
Um,
and spin. They're going to try and spin it somehow.
Most certainly toothless.
Will they announce a strategy of pushing most of their library multi-platform?
Most of their library, or
No,
just
not right now.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think. I think maybe that's where they're eventually going, but I don't think that's ready for.
How many questions? I thought you said Xbox was going to be short.
We're halfway through.
We're only halfway through Xbox. Okay, we got to speed this up.
It's only like, dude, y'all are talking way too much. All right, let's go. All right, so
What do you
that's a
think was
no.
gonna happen? That's a
A
no.
lot of questions. I thought this was like 20 total.
No, let's go. Yes or no?
No.
No,
No what?
no. I'll say
Not going
no, too. I
multi-platform.
don't think they're ready to quite do that. All right. Are we going to see the next game from Double Fine?
No.
No.
Really?
We
Really?
got to go.
I
gotta
say not only do I say yes, I think that's the Shadow Drop. Okay.
That is a wild prediction.
It's a wild
But I'll-
prediction, but looking at the timeline, it could be possible.
You know
all
what,
right.
Chris Davis? I hope you win. I hope you win
Lightning
all
round.
the points.
I really hope I do. Perfect Dark. Will we see that?
No, I think
No.
that's in super treble development. I think at this point.
There's contradictory
think
reports
that's-
about that.
Yeah.
And you know how games can be. Like they can come together a month
But
later.
has it come
We're
come
talking
together
too
yet?
much. Go.
I
We
don't know.
don't.
I don't think so.
State of Decay 3.
Nope.
I feel like you got to. Yes, there's something for State of Decay 3.
Okay.
Or they've
all right.
canceled that shit.
They have been really more prolific with their marketing lately for State of Decay 2 and their updates there. I think that's a sign.
Okay.
2 more. Will we finally see gameplay of Fable?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I say yes there. And finally, will
seen
we
gameplay,
see Hideo Kojima's Overdose?
No.
Is it called Overdose?
Yes,
Yes,
it's called
that's-
Overdose.
The one with,
I'm going to
with
say yes.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, this is the Jordan
Oh,
Peele project.
The Jordan Peele one? No, I'm going to say no.
Okay. I'm going to say no. I think they're too focused on Death Stranding 2. Okay. Moving on to Ubisoft. Number
Oh my
1.
God, is there a Nintendo block too?
Yes, we can get through this in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right? Here we go. Ubisoft, will we see more single-player games than games as a service titles?
Ooh.
No, well, define. I mean, Assassin's Creed is games as a service, and technically, right? I mean, they've.
Well,
what
if
does
you're
that mean, though?
we don't.
I think
know
it's going to be
yet.
hard to define.
Oh God, I'm gonna say no. I mean, I think we're gonna see some games as a service shit, but I don't think there's gonna be more of it than single player stuff.
Okay.
Or
All
I
right.
guess more of it than just non games.
I think it's going to be hard to define.
I think
Okay.
Brad's probably right, but I'm gonna go no.
I'm going no. Brad, no.
Okay, yeah, no.
Okay. Okay, easy
yes.
one. Will we see the Splinter Cell remake?
No.
No.
I
Cancel.
hate you both. I'm putting yes. Will we see a new Rabbids game without Mario?
No.
No and no. And super no.
Okay. All right. I'll put no
Too
too.
soon.
I
Last
wish.
one didn't sell well. Last one didn't sell well.
All right.
We're
Will
done.
we see Beyond Good and Evil 2?
No.
Yes.
Shut up.
Yes. My answer
Shut
is
up, Brad.
100% yes.
Okay. All right. I'm putting yes too. I think they've got to say something.
Okay. Jesus. I was
will
saying yes as a joke, but
Ubisoft-
if he's saying
Will Ubisoft have a Marvel game?
no.
No. Was that a rumor?
No, but I think that from my perspective, that ties into Star Wars with them. Like they're willing to go where the money is. I think we'll see
money ain't in
a Marvel
Marvel.
game announcement next year.
There's already okay. There's a lot of other Marvel projects, and I think they made their move with Star Wars.
Will they announce that Skull and Bones is going free to play?
Oh,
It's not free to play.
No, it's not. It's a
That's the thing,
premium
people have to-
$70 title.
oh
Then yes.
God. Yeah, I'll go with yes on that one.
I
Good
think.
Lord.
Yeah, I think they got to do something. Okay.
Holy crap.
Will we see Far Cry 7?
No.
Far Cry 7 rumored to be a formula reboot, more
No.
akin to the classic
Yeah.
entries.
Yeah, I've read the rumors. I don't think that's this year that we're
When
gonna
were
see
those
it.
rumors?
Late last year.
Then
Yeah,
no.
I don't think we're gonna see that this year.
Okay.
Do you remember when we got rumors that Playground Games was working on a Fable game like 7 years ago?
Yeah. And hey, they're making one. Okay.
Yeah, but
Will we see a remake or remaster of Far Cry 2?
No.
no.
We got to go
Okay.
faster.
All right.
I think Ubisoft is gonna be mostly out Star Wars
You
Outlaws.
no longer
and
need to say your
Assassin's
answer,
Creed.
Chris Davis.
Prince, fuck you, Brad.
No, I'm
will we
saying-
see
I'm
the
just saying
remake
for the
of
sake
Prince
of
of
time.
Persia: Sands of Time?
No, I think
No, not yet.
Yeah, that's supposedly not in good shape. And finally, will we see a new IP from Ubisoft?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with no. I think they're gonna be so focused on Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws that there's not gonna be room for much else.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm in that opinion. Okay.
I'm not trying
Uh,
to be a pessimist. I'm just being real.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, the Nintendo block. The first big question: will we see the Switch 2?
No.
No, we know no.
I think if they're doing a treehouse, they're going to do it. So yeah, absolutely. I'm saying
We
yes.
know
Oh
We
my
know it's
God,
not.
you
We
are
know
shooting
that.
for the stars, Chris Davis.
No,
We
I
know
think
the
it's just
answer.
time for them to fucking announce it, and they're going to do it. All right.
Okay, well, the
Metroid Prime
president
4.
of Nintendo disagrees.
No.
Yes. Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes.
What? I can't keep track of Brad.
Yes, Metroid Prime 4. I have to say yes on that one.
At this point, we
No.
don't even know if they're doing something, and now we're shooting for a Switch 2 and Metroid
They
Prime
have
4
to.
in the same. I guess those things probably go hand in hand, right? They're probably gonna, if they announce a Switch 2, they're probably gonna show Metroid Prime 4 as like a launch title or something, right?
Yeah,
But if-
they gotta have something though.
Yeah, they got to have something. They got to do something. All right. I'm saying yes. Next one. Will we see an expansion or significant update to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
No.
Okay. I will say they're going to do a modest update, not what I'm talking about, so no. Will we see the rumored remaster of Zelda Twilight Princess?
No.
Twilight
God, I
Princess.
wish.
What,
God, I
and
wish.
Wind Waker?
They've
No.
it's been in talks like it's been on shelves for years, ready to go.
Chris Davis is gonna say yes to this, isn't he?
I'm gonna say yes for Wind Waker.
Well, I'm doing Twilight Prince. We're talking about Twilight Princess, not Wind Waker.
The rumors are both of them, but
Okay.
whatever. No.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes, just to be safe.
White Burrow
right.
says this is out of control. Chris is just saying yes to everything.
No, I've got plenty of no's. I'm just a real hopeful kind of guy.
Not
I have
compared to us.
positivity in my soul. Anyway, will
I've
we
tried
see
to warn you so hard.
will we see the remasters of Metroid Prime 2 and 3?
No. No, crazy.
Maybe in some form. Yes.
Those aren't real.
Yes, I think we're gonna get a tease for Prime 4, and we're gonna see these. Yes for both Metroids.
I think we're going to get a tease for Prime 4, and they're going to say, in the meantime, hey, we've got Metroid Prime 2 remaster coming out this year.
today.
All right.
Ta-da.
I know what your answers are going to be, but are we going to see the Donkey Kong platformer? That's been rumored
No.
for a long time.
No.
No.
Didn't think so. I got to have hope in my heart. So I'm going to say yes because I need it for my fantasy
Wow,
cricket league.
you're not trying to win.
Will we fuck off, Brad? Will we see Fire Emblem Genealogy: The Holy War remake?
I'm gonna say yes on this one.
This has been rumored for a long time.
That feels like something they would. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm gonna.
Nick's saying
I'm
yes because I said yes. Just mark
Yeah,
him a
I'm
yes.
following Brad's. I mean, Brad knows. He knows better than I do.
I
on this
almost
one,
bid
so
on this, so
Let's go
Okay.
with yes.
Okay, 3 yeses. Will we see a Kid Icarus game?
No.
no.
No. Okay.
Swear to God, Chris Davis, if you say yes,
No, I
I'm
think
gonna
that
go, yeah.
I think that's coming. I don't think they're going to show it yet. Will we see the next project from Monolith Soft?
no.
From who?
Monolith Soft. No.
Developers of Xenoblade Chronicles.
I'm gonna go no because they're taking a break from. Well, will it count if they're like doing a remake of X,
I would count
or-
that, yeah.
a remaster of X even, or a
Yeah.
port? I'm gonna go yes for Monolith Soft.
Okay. I'm going to say yes. I think they want to show off something pretty cool. Finally, last thing for Nintendo. Will we see something related to Earthbound/Mother?
No.
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 Okay. We went through this whole thing, Chris Davis, and I can't believe you didn't mention this in the Xbox section because it's almost certainly happening, but it's not confirmed yet. The Alan Wake 2 DLC is almost certainly happening.
Yeah,
but that's boring. We don't
that's a
care
known
about Alan
quantity.
Wake 2
That's
DLC.
happening. So I wasn't going to add to the list.
Okay.
Boring.
Okay.
What's with Dragon's Dogma? Dragon's Dogma was all over the Jeff Keighley
The
trailer.
The rumor going around from Jeff Grubb is that Dragon Age will be shown, but it's not going to be called Dreadwolf.
no.
It's going to be
No, no,
renamed.
Dragon's
Dogma. Dragon's
Oh,
Dogma
Dragon's
was
Dogma, I'm sorry.
featured in Keighley's trailer.
I don't know. I think he
Heavily.
just tends to
Now,
show
he says,
stuff
"Oh,
that's
stuff I
recent.
played this year or whatever," but also, I was in there. I don't know. Yeah. So no.
There you go.
Overall,
There you
my
go.
answer is no.
We'll check back in next week to see how each one of us fare.
That's a lot of things you marked on there.
That's-
Chris Davis.
Nolan's-
If Chris Davis wins, we all win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reality of the situation.
Like, I'm trying to be
Almost like Chris
positive.
Davis won't win.
I got to hope.
Nick was a little more negative than me, so I feel like by default,
But like, I don't even feel like I'm
He's
being
gonna-
negative. I just feel like I'm being realistic. I'm still really excited. I just don't think I'm trying to temper my expectations because like, a lot of this stuff sounds too good to be true.
I feel like I should have had you answer first on some of these. I feel like some of my no's were so confident. You piggybacked.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. That's definitely
Okay.
what happened, Brad.
Well, I had a bonus round, but y'all can fill that out when I give y'all the spreadsheet later on.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But
Okay.
that'll be
All
fun
right.
when y'all fill it out.
Are we gonna
Okay.
4-player minute this shit or what do you think?
I mean, can we do like really fast 4-player minute? There's not even a lot. there's
Yeah,
not
no,
even
I could do mine fast. I could do
all
mine
right,
real fast.
let's just do really fast 4-player minutes. Go.
My 4-player minute is shout out to the announced Yacht Club Games presents for I believe June 20th of this
Yes.
month. It's exciting because Mina the Hollower is a game that I'm excited about. I don't think it's going to ship this year, but it was counterpicked, and if it's not at this thing, if there's no date at this thing for 2024, it means I'm safe to super drop. So it's nice that it's coming in right before the end of June where we have to decide if we're going to super drop or not. They've already said that this is going to be like a special version of Yacht Club Presents. That we want to highlight the 10th anniversary of Shovel Knight or whatever. So I'm already thinking now. They don't do these Yacht Club Presents very often, like pretty rare, once every couple of years maybe. So I think they have to mention something about Mina, and if they don't say anything about Mina, then we know for sure that it's not coming out this year, which is good news. But either way, I still think Mina the Hollower looks so sick, and that's it. And shout out to Patches. I will say we had a quick conversation about Nine Souls. It didn't come up in that conversation where I was asking about, I heard some complaints about the map. You think the developer's going to do anything? And Kenton and Nick were like, "There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine." Or I didn't have a problem with it. They don't need to patch it or whatever. And it's funny because Kenton finally looked, and I'm like, "Oh, actually, they did patch it yesterday. Cool."
All right. Cool.
Anyways, that's all. That's my 4-player minute.
All right, Chris Davis.
My 4-player minute is really short and sweet. I can't believe they're doing it, but it was announced yesterday that we're getting a Like a Dragon TV show.
Oh
What?
God.
Yeah, comes out late
Finally.
That's
October.
wild. It's
Yeah,
already coming out?
yeah, it comes out in
6th
October.
episode.
Is
Yeah.
it like an anime or is it like a
No, it's a live
live
action
action.
show.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like-
it's called like a Dragon Yakuza, which is hilarious.
That
yeah,
is kind of hilarious. What the fuck?
yeah. I don't.
It's really going to confuse people.
I mean, for people that are Yakuza fans or like Dragon fans, sure, but like, the layperson doesn't even know what the hell this is. But yeah, I don't know what to fucking think of this. The only thing I have is that I really hope that the comedic elements are in there.
No way. It's going to be serious as fuck.
I mean, more than likely, yes, but I feel like
Can you
there's got to be
imagine?
quirks.
Is there a trailer
No.
for this? We have no idea.
There's
mean-
it was announced
No.
in a tweet from Prime Video. It's a back shot of Kiryu with the dragon tattoo.
It's going to be serious.
It's got to be weird though. It's got to be like that's the whole thing. You don't.
No. You're just showing you how much you don't know about Yakuza, because the main storyline in Yakuza games are always super serious. Like, it's only the side stuff, optional stuff that's goofy. Like, there'll be like maybe some required sub stories where that's tutorializing certain mechanics that are a little silly, but when it comes to the main plot, it's always super serious. Always.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wild.
I mean, but hey, at the same on the other side of the coin, there, like, if the writing is as good as the recent writing for the recent Like a Dragon games, especially the man who erases his name, like, fuck, man, this might be a really good show.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I thought-
Amazon's been doing some cool
Let's-
shit lately with
Yeah.
their TV offerings. So
the Fallout show was good.
Fallout was good. I liked Rings of Power.
Well,
I did.
yeah,
I'm-
but
I
that's
don't-
again that they've done.
But
a
I'm
lot
coming
of
at
things.
that. Yeah, I'm just saying I mean, there's also a bunch of other shit that I've watched on Amazon that I really enjoy.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Rings of
so-
Power is just the most expensive thing ever made.
It is. It is
Yeah,
definitely one of the
and-
most expensive looking things ever made.
No, the
Um,
expensive projects, the most expensive things ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right. Well, I'm done. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try and not do this every single week. But today was a particularly special day, so I'm going to do it. So today was the first day of principal photography on the prequel series of Dexter, which
Oh
is a
my
big day for me. I'm very, very excited. But also, I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to say that if you are a fan of the show, I am going to be continuing to contribute on DexterDaily.com throughout the course of filming on this show.
Yeah.
Like I did kind of with the tail end of New Blood. So if you're interested, you can follow along there. But I'm very
Dexter
excited.
Daily, huh? Is it really daily?
It is daily. It is
There's
daily.
something
dude.
to say about Dexter every day.
I mean, not during like between
Oh,
seasons and shit, but like
I
when
wouldn't.
it's active, like when like the gears are turning, right? Yeah, there's tons. Like there was like 8 posts that went up today. It was insane.
oh
Um,
dang.
But and it's run by one guy, and he came to me and towards the tail end of New Blood's filming, and I've just been kind of involved ever since then. So yeah, I'm gonna be continuing to do stuff there. So if you like the show, that's where you can find my thoughts and stuff. So yeah, very excited about that. And I wish I had some way of connecting that to video games, but I don't. So
You ever
That's
played that
it.
Dexter mobile game?
no, I did not. I did not. I did
Come on,
buy
man,
the.
you
I did
gotta
buy.
make that happen.
I did buy the Dexter Clue board game and played that.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I'm
You need to track down
it's
that board
stretch.
game. I mean that video game. Do something with that video game. It's got to be similar.
probably it's bad. I'm sure it's
I
bad.
know. That's why you got to play it.
God. Maybe I could be convinced. I mean, it's not even that thing. It's not even something I can go buy on Steam, right? It's not like a thing.
No,
on
no,
Steam.
no. But there's got to be ways.
I'll see what I can find out.
That'd be a
But
fun
yeah.
stream, dude.
It's cool. I really enjoyed contributing on this site during New Blood because just lots of stuff that I wouldn't have been privy to otherwise, and that's kind of continuing here. So I'm I'm excited. Exciting times. It's a good time for me. Video games are popping off this week. Dexter's filming. It's what a time to be alive. So, anyways, and guys, we skipped over Fantasy Critic this week because we went over on predictions and stuff. But I can tell
Yeah,
you
we
this.
sorta-
I can tell you this. There was one pickup last week, and it was for Nolan's list. He picked up Bo Path of the Teal Lotus, which I think was part of the State of Play, right? That happened last
No.
week.
It
Okay.
was
what-
part of our trailer talk.
Was that it?
Yep.
So we're okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, Bo Path of the Teal Lotus is now on Nolan's list. That's all we got this week. So maybe we'll have more to talk
That's
about.
that game that looks
Fantasy-
like Nine Souls. That looks really cool.
Yeah. I was looking at it thinking I was watching a new trailer for Nine Souls, and it wasn't. So now he got Nine Souls and Bo, but whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Chris Davis, thank you for putting together the predictions. That was fun.
Gracias.
Yeah.
And we hope Nolan's doing it. Has Nolan checked in? Anyways, guys, 4playernetwork.com is the website. You can find all of our episodes on the site. You can find them on Spotify or whatever podcast platform you prefer. In the
He's alive,
meantime,
he says.
we humbly ask that all of you join us in Discord at discord.gg/4player. Especially this week, it's going to be fun, going to be active, lots of stuff to talk about. So we hope to see you in there. In the meantime, y'all be good to each other, play video games. Good night.
Meh.
Bye. All right, I turned on the thumbnail instead of switching the cameras, so
Forget I have to work
hopefully
tomorrow.
I don't have to deal with
Let me
that
push
bullshit
back
on
the
YouTube
button.
anymore.
Wait, what did you say, Brad?
I did forget that I have to work tomorrow. Since we pushed back the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No, it's fine.
All right. It was fun. I hope Chris Davis is right about everything. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
I hope I'm
hope.
right about my yeses at least.
I hope everybody's
Yeah.
right where they said yes.
So when I do share this spreadsheet to y'all, it'll probably be either tonight or tomorrow. If y'all could, I would like it if you could fill out the bonus round questions at the bottom. It's
I'll do
just
it
5 of
tomorrow.
them. They're open-ended questions.
Yeah, happily. I don't mind answering questions when it comes to video games. There were Castlevania rumors. Not recent, but in the past.
I really think we're gonna get a Castlevania something.
I'm worried that it's going to be some dev I don't like. Not necessarily
Yeah.
Mercury Steam, but maybe some indie dev that I no longer trust, or
I wouldn't put it past Way Forward to get the contract.
I don't want that.
I know.
I'm
I
over
know.
Way Forward. Yeah, do gotta go. But my shit's uploading, so not in a huge
Cool.
rush.
I too
I tell you
have
what,
got-
it's a shame that the Dead Cells developers are working on Prince of Persia.
Oh, I know what I could say before people start leaving. However many people are here, I am gonna be home by the time the Keeley thing starts. When does it start? 4 o'clock.
Yes.
So
Damn,
I'll probably
really?
be online. I'll probably be online to commentate that.
I'd like to join you if
Man.
I could.
I might try to find a way to be home in time for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of
Why
fun.
do they keep doing this shit so late in the day?
I mean, my kids are gonna be around and alive, making noises and stuff. So it's not gonna be like a fancy production, but I'm
Well,
gonna
I
watch the
could
things
also
I might as
handle
well
it.
watch
I'll be available. I'm working from home that day.
No, I mean, if my mic's gonna be on, I'm saying, or my camera's gonna be on, I'm saying you might hear or see some children, but
Oh, that's fine.
I think
I'm saying I'll be
we and they can handle that.
hopefully, Griffin's no longer projectile vomiting. By Friday.
Hopefully.
he should be.
He's feeling better though, right?
He did good today. Oh,
Okay.
what is this?
What?
File unreadable.
Oh,
I said
God.
that on the upload. Why would it say that on the upload?
Did you try to drag and drop? Maybe your browser just didn't like it.
Audacity. I'm listening to the file. The file's there. Why did it say file unreadable on
As long as you
on
have
the
the
upload
files on your desktop, you
Google
can try
Drive?
re-uploading them. I don't know.
It's weird. I mean, I've just never seen that message on Google Drive.
Neither have I.
File unreadable.
All right, I've got to bounce.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.
It was fun. See you later.
Y'all have a good night.